Boss, dude.
What's up, dude?
Ryan Bossery in this building. I love it, dude. Thanks for coming, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's
Yeah,
been a
of
little
course.
while.
Yeah, we were just talking. The last podcast that we did together was when we did the driving one with RC.
Yep.
Dude, that was so fun,
That
bro.
was cool, dude. That was
That was
cool.
such a good time. I don't know
Yeah.
why I haven't done another one of those.
Yeah, that was awesome. Just like commenting on things around us.
Yeah.
And, like letting the conversation naturally just grow based on like our environment.
Well, it was probably the best look into what our conversations are like when like the mics and the cameras
Yeah.
aren't
because
going.
I literally like wasn't paying attention that we were I was just talking to you.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
It was dope. You know, one thing about that too is I was like over technical, making it worse than it needed to be.
Got it.
Putting the mics up and trying to make sure that it was like it was steady. And then when I just listened to the audio from the GoPro, like that was good
It was
enough,
good enough.
dude.
Yeah, and didn't we like accidentally not record some of it or something?
Yeah.
Shit.
That was a good time. But before that
Yeah.
was when we were in Auto Salon,
Yep.
2019.
What a trip, dude.
I know, bro.
Well, first off, the trip was awesome, but I guess what I meant by what a trip, it was more like what a trip aftermath. That we
Yeah.
didn't know that, like, you know, everything was like cool in the world at that point. Or
Yeah.
like sort of.
You're right. It was it 2019 or was it the
Yeah,
last time
it
that
was-
we went?
yeah, it was
20
January.
2020.
It was January 2020.
2020. That's right. That's the last time that we did the pod.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything was chill. Well, kind of, because when we were on the plane flight over there,
Yeah.
there was like they were announcing that we were gonna go to war with Iran, I think, or something.
Yeah, there was problems with that, and then there was, or was it the Korea stuff was already happening? I don't know. Dude. I don't. Honestly,
So
I'm
much
pretty
shit.
bad with. But anyways, so yeah, dude, we had like, and then like COVID was a thing, but not yet, and like it wasn't, you know, a problem at that
Yeah.
point. And then yeah, dude, it was like kind of like sort of normal life.
Push that thing down, please, baby. The little afro, it's coming off.
Oh shit.
There you go. the afro.
Got it.
Yeah, and then that was the time when there was an earthquake there too,
That's
dude.
right. Yeah,
oh my
that was,
god,
dude.
bro.
We were, how many stories up were we?
I was probably like 5.
Yeah, we were. I mean, we were swaying like
Yeah,
crazy.
for
we woke
sure.
up and we were like, "What the?
What is
We're like
going
riding our
on?
bed for a minute, you know? Like it
Oh
was
my
crazy."
god, I can't foresee myself going to a trip like overseas anytime soon, dude.
Really?
Yeah, man. I think especially because like Frankie, she's just so young.
Yes.
You know, at that time, Christian, he's already old enough. Like he's a young teen and he could pretty much handle himself. You
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
just being that far away, and then the time difference too, and then just I don't know, just not being in control. It's like, damn, man.
I feel you. Yeah, it's definitely like a concern because I'm at the point of my life where my wife and I need to decide really quick if we're gonna have a baby.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, you know, we're like figuring that logistics out, and you know, they everybody I talk to or things I hear or a podcast I'll listen to, everybody says you're never gonna actually be ready.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, I feel like, oh, I'm not quite ready, but when your wife like is and it's like time, then you kind of have to like make that decision. So, but yeah, that's one thing I'm concerned about, you know, is like I want to be able to spend time with a child, but I also am greedy a little bit, like with myself, and I, you know, want the opportunities to be able to travel overseas and do things like that and not feel guilty that I'm leaving somebody behind.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that. And that's kind of the way that I was thinking about it too when we were deciding to have a baby. Is I was just looking at all the I don't even want to say negative things of it, but you know, life is gonna, like, the hustle is gonna slow down. You're not gonna be able to travel as much, but it really doesn't bother me at all. Like it was nice to go on all these trips and such, but I feel like when the time is right, I think it's nice to have that little gap too, because maybe when she's, you know, 4 or so,
True,
she's gonna be chilling, and Ash will be chilling, you know, and I could just go away for the weekend or whatever it is, and it not be a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sure the time will come where you'll feel like, okay, you know, now this year I finally feel like I could do a little traveling. I won't feel guilty. Ash has, you know, the ability to maybe things will be a little slower, so she won't be like, oh my God, Frank, I need you here.
Yeah. And even right now, it's not even like that.
Yeah.
It's more of a thing that I just don't want to leave because
Yeah.
it's that's the part, that's the other side of it. Like everybody, especially like entrepreneurs and stuff, they always look at it through one lens.
Yeah.
But when you see that other lens of like, I was telling Gabe, like, dude, when I get home and she says "dada" and runs to me, like, bro, there's no better feeling than
Yeah.
that, dude. It's
Yeah.
it's such an amazing feeling. And then the part of like, well, I don't know, I can't be ready for it. You just apply that to like building a car. You're never really ready. You
You're
can
not.
prepare as much
Yeah.
as you want, but once you're inside of there, things are always gonna happen.
Right.
And you're able to attack it and to make it happen. And then you just got to look at every other aspect of your life
Yep.
in that lens.
Yep.
I always just try to talk everybody into having kids,
Yeah,
dude.
I know. Seems like that for sure. Like not just you, but other people that have kids. They're
Yeah.
always like, "When are you guys gonna do it?" Like,
Speaking of kids, bro, shout out to Ravi, man.
yeah, I know.
Ravi and Adrian, they just had a baby boy, dude.
So we'll see. We'll see how Ravi goes with that because he, to me, sounded like, oh well. I mean, yeah, I'm still gonna do this, and I'm still gonna go here, and I'm gonna travel there, and it's business, and I have to run the business.
Yeah.
So we'll see if his ideals change at all, or if it's just kind of like business as usual. You know,
It could very well be.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different.
It just depends on what your idea of a family is, you know.
Yeah.
And what were the things that you liked in your childhood? What were the things that you didn't like?
Right.
What were the things like, man, I wish that my parents stayed home
Yeah.
a lot more so we could spend time together, because maybe if they were out working, had a career, or on the opposite side of it, it's like, wow, I wish like my parents like
Would leave me
worked.
alone.
Yeah.
Man, if I was a kid, I wish I could just be alone and watch
That's
TV.
that's
all the
Christian right now, dude. He's like, hell yeah,
Yeah,
just
right
leave
now.
me alone, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
oh
it-
man, I have to hang out with my parents. What the hell?
But
Yeah.
yeah, if you just look at it like that aspect, like the things that you wanted as a kid that you didn't get or that you did get, and that's how I look at it too.
Yeah.
You know, my parents, they tried as hard as they could, but there's still some things that like different ideas of raising a child than they had.
Yeah.
One of them was you know, like the food too. Like the food that we eat. Like I remember when we were young, we would eat a lot of fast food and drink soda and stuff like that. And nowadays, like, I mean, we'll eat fast food, but not that much.
It's more of like a treat.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
a weekend, like, okay, you know, it's Saturday and you guys get, you know, or Friday night, we come home with fast food and like that's all.
Or if we're tapped out in time or
Yeah.
something like that, you know. But that's the way that I kind of see parenting. And you just want to raise this child as best as you can
Yeah.
to be able to like focus on, or to be able to go into the world when they turn 18. And dude, it's the greatest project right there, bro.
I know it's the big project. When I told you about my soda story when I was a kid, right? Did I not tell you that?
Refresh my memory.
So it kind of just like leads into the whole like, you know, feeding your kids how healthy foods, and you said soda.
Yeah.
When I was young, I literally did not have a soda at all until I remember the time. I was playing sports. I was playing baseball, and it was like probably like the first year or whatever. And they would have like the picnics and the whatevers. And right before that, when I was younger, my dad brought home a can of Coke that was at his like parents' house or something like that. Actually, they were Dr. Peppers. And he said, here, you know, I have this Dr. Pepper, try it. And it was super flat and old. And he knew it. Okay? so the story's a little bit weird, but I basically, you know, pop it open. I drink the soda. I had probably had like Hansen soda before, maybe. This is like Dr. Pepper, boom, drink it. And I'm just like, wow, this doesn't taste very good. He's like, yeah, it's really bad, right? Like, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of gross. So I didn't have another soda. Sorry, what I meant to say was I didn't have another soda until baseball.
Okay. How old were you?
I was probably like probably 12 or something.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude.
I know. And my parents just didn't have it around the house. I never really asked for it. I wasn't exposed to it with other places and things like that. I just like didn't have soda.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I had a soda at like a baseball, like, you know, potluck thing, and I was like the greatest thing in the world.
No way.
I was like, holy shit, this does not taste like that flat Dr. Pepper. And my dad's like, oh well, yeah, I brought home some old Dr. Pepper from your grandfather's house or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So I was like, I literally thought that like soda just for me, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Until I was like, oh, there's only like a Coke left, I'll have it. And I was like, holy shit, like mind blown. You know, I was like the greatest thing ever. But,
That's a funny, dude. Yeah, we're being real stingy with Frankie. Like she hasn't even had, you know, ice cream or cake or anything crazy.
I think
like
I would
that.
do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I would do the same thing. Yeah.
Because you never know, dude. You don't know what's in that stuff, dude.
It's true.
And I don't know what it's doing to us, but I don't think it's doing anything good, dude.
No, I don't think so.
So we try to eat as healthy as possible. And good thing that Ash, she likes to cook, and
Yep.
she goes like Trader Joe's and stuff like that. So, but when we were younger, and even when I was, you know, on my own, I would just buy whatever. Okay, I could eat that for dinner. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, it was more about price, right?
For sure.
I remember, yeah, when I was like, you know, first living by myself, I'd be like, oh, I can make this big old like lasagna thing.
Yeah.
And it says it'll serve 4. Like, okay, cool. I can like eat this for the next 2.5 days. You know what I mean? And like that was the goal, and it was only like $6. So I was like, oh, okay, this is, you know, $2 meals or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all I really like thought of it as. And
It's like ramen and shit, dude.
yeah,
like,
dude.
like the fake ramen.
Yeah.
You know what sounds good right now is some ramen from Japan.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh my god.
In a couple years.
Have you found anywhere that has like ramen similar?
Yeah, there's definitely some spots. I think there's a couple places in Costa Mesa that I've been to. And then there's, I mean, they're around, dude. There's some like real authentic
I haven't
ramen
found
spots.
anything really. Have you had a Tatsu ramen before?
Yeah.
It's in LA.
Yeah,
that
I
one
think-
I really like that ramen.
I have,
right
dude.
there.
Yeah, there's some good ones, dude. I mean, you kind of just gotta like Yelp it and like, you know, recommendations.
Yeah.
You go to the areas that have a lot of Japanese people, and you can find really good ramen. Like down by me in OC, Costa Mesa has a bunch of Japanese like people. A lot of Japanese people seem to live in that area. So then they have some good markets and like stuff like that.
Have you been traveling lately?
I just went to Hawaii.
Oh, okay. What island?
I went to Maui this time.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Last year we went to Oahu. This year we went to Maui. Good times, dude. It was pretty cool. I stayed at 3 different places, and we just like, I literally did like 1,000 miles on the island in like a week with the rental car.
In a Jeep or what?
No, dude, I got a Chevy Spark. You know those like little ass cars. I was like off-roading with it. It was so fun. Like, you know, you've been to Maui, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, like Hana, it's like the southern tip, like really beautiful, like very little population and all this. We stayed a couple days in Hana, but we actually drove. It says roads closed, you know, no through traffic. They don't want tourists driving that direction, and it's a dirt road. So but it's like takes like half the day to drive it. It's like long drive, hours, right? So we basically went down through Hana on the zigzag, you know, paved road, if you're familiar with that, with all the like stops, and there's, you know, this waterfall and this, you know, botanical garden and et cetera, right? And then we stayed in Hana, and then on our way back, we basically just kept going around, and we went in the dirt. And bro, I was just like tearing up this Spark, dude. It was so fun. It's like pulling the brake and just sliding around. And my chick's like, just don't crash, you know. But
you get the insurance on it?
Nah, I have insurance on my credit card.
Oh.
So.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I haven't done any traveling lately. I've been wanting to go back to Maui, dude.
Yeah,
I miss it over there. You have a Puerto Rico trip coming up soon, right?
Yeah, dude, really, really soon.
Have you been over there before?
I've never been to Puerto Rico. You know what? I haven't really ventured too much in any of the islands, you know, surrounding Mexico, Florida. I haven't really been there much at all.
Yeah.
So, definitely. I mean, I've been to a lot of places in the world, but that's just I've always gone like Guam, Hawaii, and then like Asia, Southeast Asia and stuff. Haven't really ventured to the other side, like down in that time zone.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's gonna be really cool to be able to see that part of the world.
So that's for, excuse me, that's for TE. When is that?
Yeah, dude, what is it? It's like in a week and a half. Let's see.
No
Yeah,
way.
it's not this weekend, but next weekend.
Oh
So it's
shit,
literally like a
dude.
week and a half away.
Is it just you going by yourself?
Mike's going,
Oh, okay.
but we're not flying together. He's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
fly out of Ontario, and I'm gonna fly out of Orange County.
That's right. That's right. I was just talking to Mike at the Max Boost, the Auto
Yeah.
Fest.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, it would be so sick to go to Puerto Rico, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
We've been getting so many orders from Puerto Rico lately, dude. So that show's probably gonna be lit,
Yeah, they're,
dude.
they're getting ready to.
They're getting ready.
for Tuner Evo.
Their addresses are crazy, bro.
Oh yeah.
They don't make sense.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
There's like make a left at the Rock.
Yeah. Yeah. David gets to deal with all those, so I don't.
Oh,
have
really?
to worry about those addresses.
How's business been?
It's been really good. And maybe in the last like 2 months, it's really slowed down a little bit, which is fine because I kind of need like a break to like
Yeah.
regroup, figure out, new projects and directions I want to go and stuff like that. Yeah, getting hit pretty hard with China copies,
Really?
really bad. Yeah,
No way.
to the point where they're such pieces of crap that like we're literally getting calls and people are just not saying it's a Rywire product and we're like troubleshooting it all and it's fucking miserable, dude. Like it's not cool at all. Like there's just I mean, I actually know, I don't want to say too much, but I know pretty much everything that's going on as far as who did it, who's making it, everything. So I've done some investigating and
And it's somebody in the industry?
mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
There ain't no friends in this industry,
No,
bro.
of course not.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
When did you start to notice that?
Um, Probably pretty early on. I think when guys would, yeah, dude, early on. There's a couple things I don't want to say names, but guys that hit me up say, "Oh, I'm building this car and I'm gonna redo it and it's gonna do great things and it's gonna do this racing or it's gonna be in a front cover of a magazine." And then you hear through the grapevine that they're not really putting the car together, or they it's not even their car, or like weird stuff like that, right? And then you kind of just go like, nah, 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 and you don't really give them, you give them an inch to take a mile, right? Well, you don't even give them an inch. And then you find out, oh, well, look at the car never even got built. Guy's just partying it out. So he's asking for stuff for a car that he's like getting rid of or something like that. There was a few of those kind of early on, or like race cars that like there was a situation where I actually gave a something, which I never do. And the car like raced once and it just parted out.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay, so where's my return on investment on that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, early on, I did see a lot of that, and that's why I am super stingy with giving things away. I don't really do that at all.
Yeah.
Because I really expect like a huge return on the investment. So
Yeah.
I don't get taken advantage of a lot because I'm not super gracious with everyone.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad, because there's opportunities where I've been like, damn, I really wish I probably took that job, or like said yes to the situation, or said, I've held out and I've gone, well, the project's gonna cost this much, and they want a little bit of wiggle room, but it was like a really like big deal. It's like, man, I could have been right there with that project.
Yeah.
If I were to have just maybe taken a couple $1,000s less or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel you, dude. That's a hard thing. Is that I think sometimes it's like so infatuating where you're just around all these people and you're at these shows together, and these are like the big names in the community, and so you kind of just like don't really pay attention to the red flags.
yeah,
You know,
because you're like, no, that guy won't be this way.
that's the homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you start to realize like, damn, there's when shit really goes down, or when they could mention your name to help you out and then they don't.
Yeah.
But there's a
But-
lot of like,
But for the most part, it's been pretty good for me.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
I did learn that kind of early on, and I do try to look for the red flags, and I'm not super just gracious and giving, more of like a contract thing, I think is what I try to do. Like, contractually, even though you're my homie, contractually, this is what my ROI looks like. This is what I expect. And if it doesn't happen, then this is what I expect. You know?
Got you. Yeah. So when you're going out to like say like this TE show,
Mm-hmm.
what is your whole idea behind it? Like what is your end goal? Is it just that you just want to go to this event, or do you have like some sort of like marketing idea or
You know what? I always think like that I should try to come up with some kind of like a marketing plan or like a collaboration or something with it to make it a big deal, or maybe like, you know, offer some kind of a freebie, or like try to push the name. But I guess I found that just being there and talking to people is people like that, you
Mhm.
know? And I like to just come maybe with like a less of a business perspective and just more like a, hey, I'm here because of you guys and I want to like check out what you guys got, you know?
got you, yeah.
And it's like the opportunity, like, you know, Jay, for example, the owner of TE, me being able to work with him to some capacity or whatever is cool. And I don't need to like, you know, it's not all about the money. It's just about like, okay, he's going to give me some kind of an experience. And I just like to take experiences. I do notice that, you know, you get like FOMO, like
Mhm.
you, the fear of missing out on an opportunity, maybe, you know, not a place
Mm.
or a whatever, but, um, you know, sometimes I've looked back and gone, damn, if I went to that, I would have been able to talk to this person, meet this person, and then I could have, maybe we could have worked together to collaborate on something, right?
Yeah.
So I try to take opportunities when it makes sense. This is a lot of traveling time, but at the same time, it could be a really good opportunity for the business or something. Because who knows? I've never really touched my feet on that soil, so I don't know what the opportunities are. So I guess it's worth it to just give it a go and see how it goes.
Yeah. Do you feel like doing things like this versus having it necessarily have to have ROI? Do you feel like it's a little more new to you to go into something and just like, you know, I'm gonna plant the seed and just see where it goes to?
Yeah, I think it's different. Yeah, I guess I never thought about that too terribly much, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, like I think that just going in and, you know, planting organic seeds,
For sure.
right? I think there's opportunity there. So, and I am interested in different directions, of my business, because I do feel like, some of that value of the branding,
Hmm.
is maybe lacking a little bit. Like people appreciate, they like the product, but I don't feel like that there's as much of like they want to rep the product. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah.
So I do feel like, you know, me being there, showing face, people knowing me, and maybe if they could relate to me, or they go, oh, well, this is just like dude like us that's trying to, you know, modify his car and
Yeah.
have fun doing it, that they can relate, and maybe that can organically make my brand stronger. With, I mean, like I just tell people, it's kind of funny. I'm like, you know, there's guys that can, maybe their first build or something, and they can sell hundreds of T-shirts on their from their YouTube channel, you
Yeah.
know. And then I feel like, well, why can't, I mean, we've been around for 15 years, and millions of people seems like how they have our product and are happy with it, but they wouldn't like buy a hat, kind of a thing.
Mm.
So I wonder, where that miss is, if you will.
Ah, got you. Do you ever feel like you had that?
I think I may have had that early on, and I
Yeah.
think that early on thing is funny because I do see a lot of smaller businesses that hit that early because people want to encourage the underdog. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
like when you're kind of up and coming and you're new, and then you have like, friends around you, or maybe like influential cars or things like that. Yeah, they want to put big stickers on the car. They want to represent your products. They want to talk about you. They want the brand to be really dope. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But when it's kind of like old news, I think that a lot of those, you know, OG people have been there, done that, and then now it's up to the other people to take over. And when there's a miss there, then you don't generate the same amount of buzz. So
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of companies that I can think of that, small guys, you know, that early on is like, whoa, they're like overnight success.
Yeah.
But then, 15 years later, 10 years later, 5 years later, whatever, like where are they now? They might be there still, but maybe they didn't have that initial hit. It seems to be like that big spike, and then it kind of like mellows off. I mean, what do you think?
Well, from the outside looking in, even before I met you, the Rywire was the brand that you wanted to rep,
Yeah.
and then going to I remember this Week Fest 2009 in the last one in the parking structure.
Sure.
Was in like Japantown or
Sure.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Dude, most of the heavy hitters had Downstar, Rywire
Yeah.
banners
Banners,
on
stickers,
them.
yeah.
But that was like a SoCal thing. So
Sure.
those people, they knew you.
Yeah.
But as social media grew,
Yeah.
I feel like you've left yourself, your personal self out
Yeah.
of the equation.
Right.
Let the work speak for itself, and it has.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it has.
I look at your brand as the number one in automotive, motorsports wiring.
Thank you.
But I also see it from the outside point of view. If you're not building those kind of cars, or if you don't see your face like you see my face, like you see Mike's face, it's hard for people to know who you are.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it comes to a thing like, oh shit, there's Ryan. Oh, that's Ryan from Rywire.
Yeah,
because in their head, they're just putting it two and two together, but they don't know if you want. They don't know you.
Sure.
So they don't, unless they see podcasts like this or something like that. They don't know you to know like, well, they're kind of intimidated.
Yeah. And I can see that. And also, like, as much as I seem like right now I'm perfectly comfortable speaking and all this stuff, right? I'll be brutally honest. It makes me feel uncomfortable because this happens a lot. If I'm at, if I'm at a race event, if I'm at whatever, SEMA, doesn't matter, right? I will hear that out of my ear. Oh, that's Ryan right there. Like whisper, like that's a guy from Rywire. That's Ryan or Rywire, whatever. I hear that and I'm like, shit, like that's cool. Thank you for, that's good. It's comforting to hear, but also it makes me feel like, oh shit. So, do they want to talk to me? Do I want to engage? Do I want to just like pretend like I didn't really hear it and just be aware of the situation?
Yeah.
So it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Got you.
And I'm kind of standoffish with people that I don't know, and I don't know if they want to approach me because my product is very interesting. A lot of people will have problems either installing application things, ordering wrong. I mean, dude, the sky's the limit.
For sure.
People don't understand it, so it's very hard. Now, some people, if they don't order right or you don't get something right the first try, they're going to then be like, have some kind of animosity against it. So because I could see it with the customers, like, hey man, sorry, you ordered wrong. And then they're attacking me, So a lot of times I don't know if that person is like, yo, fuck this dude. Right.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Or they're like, oh damn, this guy, like, I want to talk to him. I got a million questions for him.
For sure.
I don't really know. So I'm not really going to like walk up and be like, what's up guys? Because I don't know how they feel about me. And that's a personal thing that I have to, eventually need to overcome that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they're going to feel towards me. So I don't know that I want to like quickly engage.
Do you feel like you analyze things a little too much?
Probably. Like I try to like not be influenced by like, social media posts. I don't really look at that kind of stuff. People calling people out and saying things. I just stay out of the mix. But as far as that, I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, like except from the outside looking in, I never hear anybody saying anything bad about you.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't because you're my homie, and they know
Right.
that like I'm not gonna side with them or anything.
Yeah.
But
no, I've had people like I've had situations where two people have like walked up to me and one person's like kind of quick to engage and they're like happy and excited to talk to me and stuff, and then somebody else a little bit more standoffish and then they're like, well, hey man, I ordered this thing from you and it didn't really work out right. And I'm like, okay, well, what was the problem? Well, like, I tried to hit you up and you didn't even reply. And I'm like, oh, well, it depends on, how you reach out to me. And, and like email is the way to do it. You hit me up on social media and go, hey, yo, I'm not going to reply. I'm just simply not, because that's not a professional way to engage a conversation. I don't know what you're trying, like, hey, yo, I got a problem. Like, okay, cool. And I'll reply to that and I'll say, please email, da da da. And maybe they don't like to hear that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it is what it is, but every situation is a little different, and people have been like kind of attacking or criticizing to my face before, and I am chill, but like if it's not really it's like, dude, email me, bro. Like, call if you have a question. Don't be so judgy, thinking that we're just instantly not going to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll literally like help tons of people with so many things, and we'll get to the bottom of it, because there's situations where I found weird stuff with something that's already been tampered with, or you find out that somebody bought something used, or it's not even our product, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of reasons why things aren't going to work the way that you think they're going to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard for me, because I'm a little intimidated by, like, is this going to be a good experience with someone, or is it going to be like an awkward, like, you didn't answer me kind of a situation, which I don't ever do anybody wrong, but I'll tell people to fucking kick rocks if it's like, oh, bro, that's not even like our harness. Like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like, I'll do my best to help, but if it's literally not a feasible thing for me to do, then kind of tell them to beat it.
Hearing you say that you're intimidated is fucking funny, because I've seen you snap a few times. I'm like, damn, you're fucking crazy, right?
I know, I have snapped a few times, and that's the thing. And if I get in moods, I'm not gonna lie, like, I get into certain headspaces where I'm gonna be like, yo, if somebody like says some dumb shit to me right now, I'm gonna snap. And I don't want to be that way. So I try to just like be chill. And that's why if I hear my name, Rywire, I might just be like, I'm not even going to like turn my head. I'm just going to continue to walk, because if somebody really wants to talk to me and like, have a heart to heart, or maybe they do have a problem, but they really want to like talk about it and be cool, then cool. Like, I don't mind talking, and they can stop me and be like, hey man, do you have a second? Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, but I can see it from the outside, the other side, how intimidating it can be to talk to you.
Yeah.
Just because of like your legacy, bro, what you've built and where you've come from, and the things that you've been a part of and what you've created. Like, it's you have to be able to accept that you're looked at as a celebrity.
Okay.
You have to, bro, because if you think about it like this, right? I know you're not really into music. I'm really into music.
Yeah.
So if I meet somebody, or if I see somebody that I'm a huge fan of their work, that's a celebrity, and that's like intimidating to me. That first interaction, until we start to talk, and then like I start to gauge, like, oh, is this a cool person or not?
Right.
And then my expectations will change right there. But to just make that first interaction, it's fucking hard, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's because I've had a lot of people. I've had to try to engage before too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude. Like, even with you and I, like, we've ran into random, like, pseudo or automotive space celebrities, if you will. And there's been situations where I would want to talk to somebody, but I'm a little intimidated to say anything.
Yeah. And I feel you do, because I used to have that too. But one thing that really helped me was you just got to do it, bro.
Yeah.
I know.
And I have before, and it's worked really well.
Yeah.
And other times I like, oh man, I kind of regret not just saying what's up to that person, or engaging, because maybe it's somebody that I could eventually, like, we could collaborate with it to some capacity.
For sure. And I really regret when we were at Auto Salon that I didn't talk to that JP guy a little more, that told us that he was the biggest YouTuber ever in the first 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so what's the deal with him? Is he the biggest
I
YouTuber?
don't know. Is I try to watch one of his videos and it's like in French or something. So
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm just kidding. But it's like it's funny because then there's that side.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
You have the real cocky like
Like,
attitudes. We're like,
all right, bro, whatever, dude.
yeah. Yeah,
But-
you know what's funny? Mike, Big Mike.
Yeah.
He always like introduces me to people as just, hey, this is my friend Ryan from Rywire. That's what he always says, and I'm just like, that's cool if he wants to. He could do whatever he wants, but like I would never introduce myself like
okay,
that.
yeah.
Just because I don't want somebody to think that I'm doing what
That guy was doing,
did,
yeah, trying to
where
get a sub.
Yeah, like subscribe now, YouTube face. You know, like what the fuck, man? Like,
Well, yeah, we're just chilling, about to eat, dog. Like I'm just meeting people. Like, oh, what's
Yeah.
up, man? It was so funny.
yeah. Just because we had a mutual friend, or I knew somebody that he was with, and
Yeah.
then so it was like, okay, the four of us all of a sudden joined together, and it was like,
Yeah.
all right, introduce people who don't know everybody. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, I'm so and so, and I have 1 million and 2 million subscribers, and you're like, well, wait. Well, you said how many subscribers you have before you gave us your name, bro.
Yeah,
and I'm
for
like,
sure.
what am I gonna do with that?
You give us your link, dude.
Yeah.
HTTP dash dot slot.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
my.
No, I get you, bro. And my only advice that I could give is you just have to put yourself in that
Yeah.
uncomfortable situation, because once you do, then you're gonna start to notice it's just gonna start growing.
Yeah.
People are gonna start to know you more, and then they're gonna know that, hey, if I go talk to Ryan, like he's gonna be cool. He's gonna want to have like this conversation.
Yeah.
And dude, we've had that happen so many times, dude. Like in spaces that we would never even think that, oh, we're gonna be hanging out with people. Like that one time that we were at H Day and we're at the hotel and we're just chilling, and then we go outside and there's those guys from Canada. And they're just hanging out, drinking beer, and then we just start hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Like, you just have so many amazing times like that, and then you hang out with these people, and now those people end up turning into salespersons for you.
Yeah, of course.
Because they actually met you. Oh, dude, Ryan's fucking cool, and he's joking. Like, dude, I love your personality. I love how you are, dude. And
Thank
it's
you.
like I wish that more people knew that side of you.
Or could see it or whatever.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna kick up that YouTube channel again. There was like a long hiatus because I couldn't get anybody to like edit some videos.
Oh, okay.
I actually did a bunch of like random things, but then now they're too old. Like the content's too old. I was doing like a bunch of projects. And, like, do you remember when TJ Hunt did the that Mustang?
Yes.
So right around that time, I was visiting shops like left and right. And I was doing a ton of like bigger projects at that time. And I was like not vlogging, but I was like filming stuff. And the content's old now, kind of. But like I didn't have anybody to edit those videos. And I actually like lost like my monetization on YouTube.
Oh,
'cause
really?
I didn't post anything for 6 months.
Got you.
Even though I made a post, like a picture post, but I guess it didn't count. I don't really understand that stuff too terribly good. But I did another video recently that's like a instructional, like how to problem solve with a car. So that's really cool. And then this new project that I'm working on, I'm gonna start doing videos. I don't know how. I've been talking to Mike from StanceWorks a lot.
Oh, okay.
And because he grew his channel pretty quick, so he's giving me some like insights on what things that he saw that worked and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try my best.
Now, does he have like a team behind him to create the videos, or
He like doesn't. He edits a lot of his own stuff.
have you ever tried?
Editing?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! Like,
But,
I really think that you would be able to get it.
Yeah.
It's fairly simple,
Yeah.
dude.
Right.
Yeah. Have you never even messed around with like iMovie on your phone?
No.
Dude.
I'm intimidated to edit stuff
Really?
on my phone. Yeah, I don't know. What's crazy is my chick's like, she has a bearded dragon. Do you see
Yeah.
that? She has it's like a little lizard, not little, it's like medium sized. And she made like she has like a fun name for her Instagram page for the bearded dragon. Bro, there's this one where the dragon thinks that her toe is food because she has red nail polish. The dragon like bit her toe.
Oh shit!
Dude, that shit got 2 million fucking views.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So like, I'm like, what? Because she's good at editing,
Yeah.
and she edits within the Instagram software.
And you just feel like you couldn't do it, or you don't want to dedicate that time to it.
I get like really irritated when things like, because I see her sometimes lose it. Like she'd be like, "Oh shit, I got to start over."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, you're editing that shit for like 25 minutes." Like I think I would just get really frustrated.
Yeah.
But if I was doing it on a computer, I think that it would be a little
For
bit
sure.
easier because then I wouldn't like you wouldn't like really lose it. You could save and like you could
Yeah.
continue to save and whatever. But I want to try. But I have a lot of things in my head that I need to learn. I'm really trying to learn Fusion 360, and I'm also really, which is like a graphics like CAD
Okay.
software. Another thing that Mike Burrows does a lot of is the 3D CAD stuff. And I was watching some of his videos and I'm like, it seems like everything integrates really well with Fusion 360. So like hard parts, billet, aluminum, whatever components, because I really want to get more involved in. I feel like the future of automotive building is being able to fabricate 3D and then 3D print objects and then eventually CNC billet parts is really the future, and I think it's been that way for probably 5 to 10 years, but I haven't really taken too much on with that, and I would need to learn that a little bit better. Also welding, so I've been practicing a little bit and like
Very
doing
cool.
instructional videos, and I really want to be able to weld. So like kind of the goal is to be able to like 3D scan something, right? And then use that scan and then use Fusion 360 to develop a part. And then a 3D printer to make a hard piece. And then, using various companies, there's like Send, Cut, Send and places like this where you can send a file, they cut it out for you, make it, and then you can basically like weld the part together or something like that. So there's all these things I kind of want to learn, and I think that that's kind of key. So but editing video is another thing. But I think I would almost rather pay somebody to do that right now. I'm still at the point where I would just rather sub that out.
Yeah.
To someone to
I
put
feel
together.
you. The only thing about that is when you're trying to cook up a video and you're waiting on this person, dude.
Yep,
It
for sure.
fucking sucks,
Yeah,
bro. That's why I taught myself how to edit videos,
Okay.
and everything that I do, I want to try to at least be knowledgeable about it. So if something happens, I'm not relying on somebody else.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Something happened, and then I was relying on somebody.
Yeah.
So that's problematic because I lost the monetization. And obviously, like my YouTube channel's not that big, and I don't really care about the money per se. That's not the point of it. But the monetization was lost, and then now I have to like work up my X amount of 4,000 watch hours or whatever. I got to like start over. And I mean, the little bit of money, I don't know, do I even get that back? I mean, stuff doesn't matter, but I was in a pinch, and if I would have been able to just cook something up, like you said, in a day or two, I may have not lost that monetization, which is something. I mean, it's not, I've been working up this far to get to that point. Now I'm going a couple steps backwards. Right?
Yeah. And then you mentioned too about, you see all these other YouTubers that maybe it is their first car. What they're building isn't to anywhere close to what you can build. Do you ever look at it through the aspect of they're putting their time and equity into things that you're not, and that's why they're in that position?
Yeah. But one could argue that, anybody in that space would love to trade spaces with me, with my business.
For sure.
So, there's that. That's like the main factor that kind of reels me back in.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you've worked for 15 to 20 years of your life on your field to get you to this point. Why would you want to settle just for the, click notoriety, and then like what you're saying, like to be viewed in a public space and everybody all of a sudden likes you? Like there's a certain give and take to that, but I kind of want both, as everybody should. In a perfect world, you're Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You're running multiple businesses that are extremely successful, and then you're a figurehead that people are looking to, and they think that you're the best. I mean, like, let's face it, we all kind of want that.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. So I do want to invest more time in that part of it. Like, that's why, for example, I'm going to Tuner Revolution. It's not about like the pay or the whatever. It's more like to be able to show my face. And yes, I have a lot of clients in Puerto Rico as well, and there's a lot of opportunity there. There's certain systems that they use, and we're starting to like sell more of that. And then it's a good place to be, you know, like we've been doing a lot of like fuel tech ECUs, and fuel tech is huge because, you know, it's crazy. Like, the instructions are in Spanish.
Is Fuel Tech's from out there?
Closer to that direction.
Okay.
I don't want to say the wrong thing, but yeah, like they're predominantly Spanish speaking. They're geared towards that. Puerto Rico, obviously, there's a lot of really fast cars out there, like really fast cars. So they're kind of like leading the industry in that. And yeah, I want to be able to, you know, show my product and show face, and, you know, good things will come.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of been like really organic growth kind of a guy, because I don't blow up overnight, and it's not this like instant, you know, success and instant stardom or instant whatever. Like, I've been like chipping away at this for 15 plus years. So, I mean, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, 15 plus years, I think that you owe it to yourself to be able to put yourself in that space where others now have somebody to judge you in the with all these other influencers,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
damn, Ryan's channel only has, you know, 3,000 subs, but fucking Ryan's doing the craziest shit. You know, and maybe sometimes it's not all about the car, it's about like your personality too. And because that's the thing that wins a lot is like the personality,
right,
and how relatable that these people are.
Yeah.
And maybe they just don't know that they're relatable to you, because maybe people don't even know it's you.
Right. They probably don't. Like, I just, you know, because I wanted to give back a little. So I said, hey, Jay, you're doing this event in what was the tuner you go right here?
Was it Santa Ana?
It wasn't Santa Ana. It was Ontario.
Got you.
So I was like, yo, do you want me to bring a car? And he's like, oh, dude, you'll bring, yeah, that would be dope, right? I was like, okay, so I'll bring a car. So I brought a car. I brought the S2000, the EV one, and then you know, people would like walk by and stuff like that. And a lot of people would be like, "Are you the owner of the car?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they would ask me some questions like, "Oh, dude, is this really like electric?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's really electric." You know, "Oh, can we see this or that, or how did you do that?" And I'll tell them, "Okay, cool." And then they'll be like, "So like how did you do this?" "Oh, well, I run a shop called Rywire." "Oh, you're from Rywire?" "Yeah, I'm from Rywire." You know? "Oh, damn. Okay, cool." And then like, I don't say like, "Oh, I'm the owner." I'm not like that guy that's like, "I got 1,000 subs."
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So I'm not gonna be like, yeah. It's like if some people kind of figure it out, like deduce that or whatever, and that's cool. But yeah, there's definitely a miss there, because I'm in a situation where I think that if somebody saw my face, I would assume that by this point in time they'd be like, oh, 2 and 2 together, boom, I get it, because you're Ryan. That makes sense. I saw your face, I saw the car, cool. But no, they have to like, maybe like a day later they'll go, wait a minute, was that the guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel you on that, and a lot of that has to do with like you just putting yourself out there, your face out there. You know, maybe on your Instagram story, doing more of like you or what have you, and then you just got to realize that a lot of people, they just don't know as much as you do.
Yeah,
and they haven't. Yeah, they haven't been in the industry long enough. You know, sometimes on Instagram I'll put like, how did you hear about Downstar?
Yeah, and what kind of things?
And a lot of people that they tag is like people that we've just recently started doing business with, or some people will be like NWP, but it's,
you're like,
it's
damn,
just,
okay.
Yeah, it's all over the place, dude. So then I don't really know like where it's coming from, but it's working. And then there's things that I would expect people to know that we've done,
Yeah.
but they just don't.
I know. I mean, I think about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like one of my like wow, like that's the harsh reality of it all. But I'll like somebody's talking to you about something and maybe I'll reference like a prior project or something and they're just like, "Oh no, I've never seen that." And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Wait, what?" How do you you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, if I bring a different car, like not the electric one or something, and then somebody's talking to you about something and I'm like, "Oh, well, when I did the EV one or like the ITB Mugen wide body
Mm-hmm.
one, like people like don't remember that." But like, to me it's I think like how did somebody miss that project? But they just missed it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
There wasn't as much social media at the time. It wasn't a YouTube project. I mean, even if it gets a million views on a Hoonigan channel or something, like that's cool, but still gets missed or something like that. So
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things can get a million on Hoonigan, and then
yeah,
just get
pushed
mixed,
yeah
pushed to the
pushed
side.
down.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just the hard thing, but that's just the reality of the times that we're in right now is things are just going to keep moving fast. So with us, when we do something, it's like, okay, we did that. That's done. I got to
Right.
keep
Yeah, you got to
moving
just
on.
keep hustling. Yeah, I mean, to go back to it though, there is definitely been people that like have been like, "Oh, dude, you're Ryan, right?" Yeah. "Oh, dude, I saw you on YouTube." I'm like, "Oh, you're on my." I just think, "Oh, you, dude, thank you. You're one of the like 7,000 people that
Yeah.
bothered to subscribe to my channel. Like, I appreciate it." And then they'll be like, "Oh, you got a YouTube channel?" "No, I saw you on like TJ Hunt's channel, or I saw you on
Mm-hmm.
Rad Dan, or I saw you on Hoonigan, or I saw, you know what I mean?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, cool." Well, at least they saw me there.
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
a lot of times I am like, cool, at least somebody saw one of the videos,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But no, I'm going to hit that harder, bro. I'm going to hit that harder. I'm going to try to do more. Or it's going to be slow moving. It's going to be organic. I'm not going to blow up overnight doing stuff. But yeah, like me and Mike were working on a project that doesn't seem like it's going to end up going. But it was like a TV kind of a gig
Mm.
that would have been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But things just don't happen for a reason. So
Speaking of Mike, what's going on with Car Talk?
um, well, we to be honest, it's busy schedules, but so Mike and I actually made a point at I almost said IBOC, but the Honda meet in California, the one in what is
Well,
it
that's
called?
where I saw you. That's the last place
That's
I
where we
saw
saw
you.
last. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
We're kicking it
Lake
for a while.
Elsinore.
Yeah, the Lake Elsinore. So me and Mike, like, I had transported a car. It's because it's not mine. I didn't want to drive it. Um, Aaron's CRX that I built. I brought that car,
Mm.
and so me and Mike was helping me just like load the car to make sure I don't hit anything. And then we were talking about it, and we're like, dude, we need to like figure this out because
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think that TV thing's gonna happen. Like, okay, cool, put a lot of time commitment into it, but just probably not gonna. It's probably gonna fall on its face. So we're like, okay, well, we can do something ourselves, and I'm like, yeah. So we're trying to figure out a strategy where maybe we have our own YouTube channels,
Mm-hmm.
we have our own car talk channel, right? So like we're trying to figure out a situation where we could be like, okay, I'll help you with something, you help me with something, and then we'll mutually do something together. And that's going to be a
Mm.
lot of investment of time. So we're going, okay, well, when do we have time? We have time after work hours. So we're going to try to figure out a strategy where maybe like we can game plan 2 days a week after work. So meet at my shop at like 6 o'clock or
Okay.
something, right? And then I could film some stuff for him, he could film some stuff for me, and then we could mutually do like a car talk, right? And getting my house all set up because we were going to potentially do some car talks at my house,
Mm.
which would be really cool, but it's very intrusive to my living situation.
Mm.
So it would have to be like, some kind of a schedule.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, all right, let's just do it right now. Like, no, we have to like know, a week ahead of time so I could plan and, have things cleaned up, have cars situated a certain way, moved so another car can come into that space or
Yeah.
whatever. So, yeah, we got plans and things are, so like me and Mike could help each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need somebody to really like make me do, or I mean, not make me do it, but if somebody's there encouraging you and you're helping each other, then stuff gets done a little bit more efficiently.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because even the way you're talking about, creating content and stuff like that, it still seems that you're very intimidated with it.
I
And
am,
on
yeah.
the opposite side of it, like Mike's not intimidated with it
No.
at all.
Right.
And if you're both motivated and you both want to
Yeah.
have the same goal in mind, like dude, that's a perfect team right
We're
there.
motivated. He's very like, you know, in your face more, and I'm more subdued. But that's good because then there's good cop, bad cop, and
Yeah.
there's hot and cold. You know what I mean? So like maybe
Yeah.
I'm kind of cold and he's kind of hot, but but I'm more like in depth with information. And when I get on a subject, we're talking about electronics, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So then that'll be good because then people will be like, all right, he's talking about cool shit. Like I'm listening to this guy now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Mike too, like I love Mike's personality. I wish he would show that a little more.
Like the real
The
Mike.
real Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hate to say that because it's not like it's a fake Mike.
No, it's not a
But
fake
it,
Mike.
it's a Mike that is very polished.
Yeah.
And if you have a conversation with him like you and I have, I'm like, I fucking love Mike, dude. We have such a good convo and just joking and stuff like that. And I see that as being a huge value for him. That is opportunity that he's like leaving on the table.
Yeah, like show that side of you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something we were talking about when we were at the Max Boost Auto Fest.
You were talking to Mike about it?
Yeah, I was telling Mike, I'm like,
good.
bro, like I think that this would help things grow a lot more, especially if he just spoke about like his I don't want to get into it, but like his past life and things like that. Like that stuff's very intriguing, dude. And to know where he's come from, to know where he's at now, and for others that admire him, like you're talking about intimidating. Mike's intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially like the things that he's done and the way that he comes off and how, intelligent he is. Bro, that's intimidating, especially in our demographic.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see people not really being able to like look at Mike and say like, yeah, I can do what Mike does because Mike's a very polished person.
Yeah.
But if they knew where his more of his story, and if he touched more on that and let that Mike slip a little more,
Yep.
that it would kind of be a little more inviting and be like, damn,
The relatability.
more
would
relatable.
increase
Yeah,
a
of
bit.
course.
Yeah.
And that's like the way that I try to go about it, is to be relatable and talk about things that the normal person wouldn't talk about.
Right.
Because just because we have a business and a successful business and a brand, like, doesn't mean that we don't go through everyday situations, good or bad.
Right.
We could have both seen this same movie, and just because I have a business doesn't mean I'm not gonna think about the movie the same way that you do.
Yeah, we're all human, the same. Like we all were born with essentially the same brains.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're all pretty much the same, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And then I see like some of these successful YouTubers, just say somebody like Ghost Boy Aki.
Okay.
Like, he's very relatable to his demographic.
Yeah.
And that's
his
why
demographic, yes.
that's why the Gunners, bro, they'll ride for him because Aki is like their cousin. He's like their big brother. He's like the guy who taught them how to, change the oil in their car. So it's not somebody that they see him and they're just like,
they're not intimidated.
I
by him
like
really
what
at
he
all,
does,
probably.
but I'll never be able to get there. No, he's doing it. He always says in a 500 square foot space, he's doing it. Fool just got a 2019 GT3 RS. Fucking crazy, bro. And you see it from that point of view. You see where he started at, and he's just grinding. He's not faking like he's somebody else. He's not putting on a character, which does get him in trouble sometimes because he's genuinely himself. And if you're genuinely yourself, you're gonna say some things that, like, the way that you feel about things, and it's not gonna rub some people the right way.
But other people might look at that and go, "Oh man, he's just being real.
He's just being real." And usually the people that are upset about it is because it's maybe something that they wanted to say, but they just didn't have the balls to say it.
Sure.
And when you get in a place like that where you have like your clique, your gunner supporting you, they're down with you, like how are you gonna get canceled?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
these are your people, and he takes
all,
care
like,
of his
fighting
people
for you.
too. Yeah. So then you see somebody like TJ too. Like, bro, the reason that people are so dedicated to TJ is because they fucking grew up with him,
Yeah.
and he's living out the dream that they have.
Yeah, they're living vicariously through
For
through him.
sure, dude. And then he talks about like his problems that he's trying to overcome, and that's one that hopefully Mike's listening to this, because I want Mike to see it from that point of view, because maybe Mike, he goes after big fish,
Yeah.
like the street outlaws and things like that, and he accomplishes them. But maybe he thinks that people at SEMA aren't going to take him seriously if they see this other side.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
The professionalism.
Exactly. And
Okay.
I've had that told to me before too. Like it was Dave from Skunk 2 one time. He told me, this was a little early in my career, and he saw like the famous trap picture that we have, like with the guns and stuff. He's like, you know, I don't know about you doing stuff like this. Like, you know, Honda's never gonna want to work with you after that. And I'm like, I really don't have any desire to do anything with Honda or corporate. Like,
Yeah.
if I do, it's because they want to do it with me, who I am genuinely.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to have to like stage yourself in a way because, you know, clients might like they don't want you to get they don't want bad press.
It's not the right fit. If
Yeah.
you don't vibe with how I am,
Yeah.
it's not the right fit. And if you want to sell units and I can help you sell those units, that's as much of a fit as it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I think that like us as a society, we've went so much to the other side of it where it's like, well, I can't say this, I can't say that, you know. And
Yeah,
even
nobody wants to get canceled.
no one wants to get canceled, dude. But if you have your people that
Yeah.
fuck with you,
Yeah, they're rocking for you.
it doesn't matter. But you have to get that crew. You have to get those kind of people, you know. And it's not even necessarily building something like, you know, the Gunners, or to like have your own cult like we have or whatever. It's more of just being out there, having these genuine interactions with people.
Yeah.
And when they come up to you and they want to be like, oh, Ryan, well, I loved your car. Oh, that's cool. Hey, what do you drive, bro?
Yeah.
You know, because you have to be able to switch from Ryan, the automotive enthusiast, versus Rywire, the business owner.
Yeah.
The Ryan, the enthusiast, might not be impressed with what this person is building, but Ryan, the business owner, needs to see that as, you know, I can make a, not even looking at it as like a monetary, but I can make a fan of my business if I just show them a little interest in what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Reciprocal, like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of times, like somebody will send me a picture of their car and like, oh, dude, check out my bill. And there's always things that I see that I wouldn't do to my car, but sometimes I just like to click back into my head about when I was in that level of my automotive
Yeah,
experience.
because this person could be the 17-year-old you.
For sure, dude.
And like he's just, you know, yeah, you don't need to like show them the picture, but I mean, I remember for me, just like looking back, when I was younger, I visited Spoon in Japan. It was my first trip to Japan, and I brought a camera, right? And this was so long ago, you know, it's not even like you're on your phone, like you don't have pictures on your phone. It was so long ago. I had a couple pictures of my CRX, and I kind of like took a couple pictures of my CRX before I left, and I kept it on that card or whatever the memory thing was. So when I went to Spoon, I was like, I showed them on the little screen, oh, this is a picture of my CRX. Like I wanted to show them, like, look, I have a CRX, and like I'm doing these things to it, and there's a K series engine in it or whatever. Check it out, you know? So that was like me, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing back to me.
Yeah.
Right? They're going, hey, I just want to kind of show you my car. Like, what do you think? And yeah, I mean, I remember the guys at Spoon said it's too much power and it's not good for track use. And they were like not happy with it. But I was like, okay, whatever. Y'all are like OEM plus kind of people. And at the time I wasn't. I was like power and crazy and like big impact and like the wow factor of doing something that's not many people have done or whatever. So yeah, I mean, that person's just trying to show me their car. And I mean, I don't have to approve it, but it'll help. If Spoon said, if those techs there were like, oh my God, and they were like so happy with it, that might have made me feel really good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's like one thing that I strive for when I have interactions with people is just have a good interaction, dude, no matter what. Because if you take it down to the bones of it, dude, is like, everybody's just trying to have a good day, dude.
Yeah.
And right now, time is fucking hard. Life is crazy.
Yeah,
and
people are stressed out, and it's a different time for sure.
Yeah. So if a good encouragement can be from somebody that they look up to, like that could help out a lot.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
And then, do you ever feel like it's weird for them to look at you in that light, like, hey, I'm just a regular dude like you? Do you ever feel like that?
Like it's hard for them to look at me like that?
Like you don't get why they...
Oh, I don't get why they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and then sometimes it's the opposite. And then there's situations where I'm like, I don't get why you don't.
Got you.
So it goes both ways.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, there's situations for both. Just depending on, yeah. I mean, like that guy that we keep talking about.
Yeah.
The YouTube subscriber guy. He couldn't understand why we didn't.
Yeah.
Why we didn't care. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's both. I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely situations where I'm like, you know, the opposite. Yeah.
No,
it goes both ways.
Yeah, I feel you. And a lot of that, you just gotta keep doing something every fucking week, dude.
Yeah,
because
man.
the last thing that you didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And that's why this new project's gonna be really cool. I was really inspired by a car that I got a ride in, and it was a huge inspiration. And this next build is like paying some kind of respect to that experience. And
I know you didn't want to really get that much into it, but can you just elaborate as much as you can?
Okay. So elaborating as much as I can. I don't want to like talk about any of like the nitty gritty of it, but I picked up a EK hatchback. It's a 99. And yeah, it's going to be an all-wheel drive car.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Working with some cool people and companies and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm going to do a YouTube series, if you will, kind of like how I did the EVS 2000 or like the white CRX, where it's going to be multi-parts and like, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really trying hard to cover as much as possible, but I already like really fucked up.
Oh, really?
Because I tore the car down, and I got footage of it, but I didn't do it in depth because my immediate mind was, well, who cares about the stock stuff? I'm just pulling it all off. And then right now it's sitting as it's a bare shell. But that's a mistake. Because like when I was talking to Mike Burrows about it, he's like, dude, people love the fact that I do everything on the car with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, shit. Because I literally like pulled the whole freaking thing apart.
So you have footage though?
I have footage like, you know, I do like a pano of the interiors out, or you know, four pano shots of progressively taking the thing. But I mean, what are your thoughts on? Do you think I should put like a fucking camera on my head and just press record?
Well, like, here's one thing that I was thinking about because
I don't have it. It's hard for me to go reach for the camera.
For sure,
I can't do everything like on my gimbal-y camera deal.
For sure. Two things. You're gonna have to invest in a new camera.
Okay,
for sure.
Got it.
Maybe even two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. One a main camera,
tripod,
maybe a
dill.
go to GoPro or something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about it if I was in your situation where it's going to really slow me down if I stop and discuss everything.
Sure.
Right? So what you can do is set up some cameras, and then you can do a voiceover
Yes.
on it.
So what I was actually thinking about with the whole like just getting all that footage was I was like, this is going to be like all voiceover.
Yeah.
And I'll just start talking about the car and like what I want to do with it and all that. And then it's just going to be like me pulling, I'm going to be just talking like this. Now I'm, this is the plan. I'm doing this and I'm pulling the interior out. And as you can see, now it's out, and you know what I mean? And it'll just be, at least I have some footage of it. So,
Yeah.
So somebody that's good with that kind of stuff could cut that together and make something.
For sure. And you say good with it, bro. I
don't
can
even
probably teach you so quickly
Okay.
how to do it, dude.
Okay.
Just to put into context.
My chick can too.
Yeah.
Like she could totally just do it. She's so good. I need to sit down with her, commit. We've even discussed like her quitting her job and focusing on doing my social media.
Dude, that would be
doing
amazing,
video,
bro.
and for her doing 3D and scanning all my parts.
Yeah.
Dude, she trips me the fuck out. You want to hear something?
Yeah.
She's like, going back to her bearded dragon, she's like, oh, I need this thing in his cage that I want to make. And then, oh, like we have a bunch of plants like all over the house. So then it's like, oh, these other pots don't have little like dishes for the water underneath them, like the to catch the water for the hole through the pot. And then there's like, she's like, oh, I really want this thing to be able to hold my phone when I'm working during the day. And so she's literally like going on to like these like Fusion 360 programs, and she's making all this shit. And then she sends the file to her friend, which is our buddy. And then he'll come to the house, and then he'll have like all these 3D printed parts that she's like making.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, dude, do this shit for me, man. Like, so, it's kind of a trip. She could totally do that stuff. So
Yeah.
I've like thought about like kind of hiring her to do certain things. But the problem is she keeps getting promoted.
Well, that's the thing that's going to...
At her office, she's just like working her way up the chain.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you're doing good. So I want her to keep doing that. But I also like wouldn't mind if she just like started working for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way that you look at that. Like, is that what you want to do for the rest of your life, or would you want to have something where it's just like we work together on this thing and we can leave whenever we want together? We never have to worry about like conflicts and things like that.
I know,
because that was my main motivation for retiring Ash. It was just like, well, you're doing good at your job and you're making good enough money, but you could be doing that. You could be working at home, taking care of business at home, and we're not gonna have to worry about finances or anything like that, and when we need to get up and go, when Christian has practice or something, work is never in a conflict.
right?
Which is, I mean,
that's one thing that I definitely am a little scared of, is that, but that's the thing. Maybe I could not work beside her.
For sure. No, you have her do her own
like,
thing.
This is what we kind of want to do, and then just take it by the horns and do your thing with it.
Dude, you're in the garage, you record. All right, babe, I finished these. Here's the chips.
Yep.
Handle it.
Boom.
Once you get it, okay, that's cool.
Yep. And then, hey, come to the shop. We're going to 3D scan this thing. Here's your file. Okay, work on it at home.
That's it.
And then it's like, it's no different. It's just she's doing stuff for our business versus somebody else.
Yeah, and then she'll just be at home and
Same
go
thing.
on social media or whatever, and maybe
Yeah.
she'll cook up a reel or something with the shit that you gave her. Like, dude,
that
that's
would be dope.
that's
though.
so perfect, man.
That would be like really good, because that would turn I think that would turn the business around a lot.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it needs a little bit of a jump start in some capacity. So.
Yeah. So getting back to what you're saying about the videos, definitely document everything you're doing, and even in between some sort of steps, just jump on the camera real quick. All right, guys, we just finished that up right there. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. But now I'm gonna go ahead and attack this part of it. We're gonna do the engine bay, and I'm gonna take out everything that we don't need. put the camera up, put some music on or whatever, and then just be like, all right, yeah, so this bracket, we're not going to need this. This is why I'm taking off this bracket. That usually went to the AC. This isn't going to have AC no more or whatever. Take that shit. Simple, dude, you know, because I can understand how it could be that you just have to hold the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
And my Gabe, our worker, G Vision, make sure you guys check him out on YouTube. He has that issue sometimes too, because he's trying to make videos and he has to hold the camera and stuff, and it sucks, but you just got to figure out ways around it.
Yeah, I think I would do I think I could envision like a tripod that's just like a good camera, like one of these in front of me here, that's just recording what I'm doing. And then I can get both, you know, I can get like a handheld kind of up close view, and then the grand overhead view, or like the behind my head, like whatever maybe. And then I could like turn to the camera, I could say a few words, and I could see that working. Also, I don't feel like it's all lost, because like, you know, like I said, I have video of the engine not in the car. I have video of the engine in the car. The car runs, you know, I have all that video. So I can just, even if it's filler, like, okay, now I did this, now I did that, I can kind of record that stuff later.
Yeah, you know? Dude, and you could, those are the ingredients.
Yeah.
You could bake it however you want to bake it. And you can still use all that footage for the introduction video of this sort of project, whatever it is. But if you get all these, if you get all your ducks in a row when you start this series, bro, this could be the one that puts you into that level.
Yeah.
Because if you're giving people this content, if it's scheduled, if they know, oh hell yeah, dude, Wednesday Ryan's gonna be uploading the next one. Because the things that messes people up is consistency.
I know. And it messes up algorithms too.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, you got to think about it from this kid's point of view, whoever's watching.
Yeah.
It could be a 17-year-old kid, and this is his time to watch YouTube videos.
Right.
It could be a 20-year-old kid. He gets off of work, and from 8 o'clock at night to midnight, that's what he spends his time watching these videos. And it's just the same way like how I consume content with podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay, Wednesdays it's going to be the Joe Budden podcast is out. So
I do that too.
Yeah.
You know, because I listen to podcasts when I'm driving to work, or if I'm driving up, like, it's almost 2 hours up here, I was listening to podcasts, and I was kind of like catching up, or maybe I was like a little ahead. I actually, like, up here, I listened to a podcast and then it was over. And then I'm like, I just want to think about this next build project. So I was literally just like thinking about things in my head and how I want to do things and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I have my time where I'm going through these podcasts, and I'm like, I know that in the morning that there's going to be a new podcast out. I'm done with that one, so I'm gonna start this one on the way to work.
But if it wasn't, it would kind of bum you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
If it wasn't on time, like, I mean, every now and then, like the big, more heavy hitter guys, they'll like not do a Wednesday or Thursday or whatever podcast, and you're like, oh shit, that kind of screws me up, because now I kind of rely on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For that daily motivation.
Yeah. It might be a motivational thing or a business podcast, and I'm like, damn, could use that right now.
Yeah, and that's the same exact way. No matter what the content is, like, we get into these sort of schedules, and if they don't have anything that day when they're supposed to, it kind of doesn't mean that they're gonna unsubscribe or they're not gonna mess with you. No. But the more often that you do that we stick to that schedule, it's just gonna grow.
Yeah, it'll help a lot.
Yeah, especially the builds that you do, like it's already known. Maybe you could even do another video that shows highlights of the builds that you've done in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool too, especially when I get to the little bit, like when I get in the groove and people that are expecting it. If I don't have any content, I can do like a filler video, and people might be like, "Oh, this is perfect." It's like when Seinfeld does the end of whatever. It's like all the greatest moments.
Yeah.
You're like, cool. Okay, well, this is all old content, but it's still like refreshing to see it all, and I'm happy that I'm watching this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Reintroducing yourself, dude. Definitely to a new generation, because it is a totally new generation.
Right.
You go to these shows, how many EGs, EFs, EKs, DCs do you really even see? Bro, you're seeing like 8th gen and up.
I know.
You're like, what are these Accords and shit, and
Yeah,
like, you know, TLs, and just, and then that's just the Hondas.
I know.
Then you start to see all, you know, the Subarus and stuff like that, and then the domestic muscle cars, dude. Like the scene is changing
I know.
crazy.
I know.
Do you ever think about adding more universal products to your line?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I have like more simple stuff. Like even early on, this is like, 15 years ago, just adding like the little ground kit. I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, it's such a useless thing. But I mean, when now at the point where we sold thousands and thousands and thousands of those, it's like that's kind of a vital small universal part that I couldn't really not have that. But like there's probably tons of those that I'm kind of like missing out on,
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, I definitely have some ideas for universal pieces. Um, I've been just doing so much like private label things that I can't really like show that very easily because it's private label. But that really like takes a lot of my day and a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Projects that I'm working on that, very heavy back and forth with different businesses and stuff like that, where I'm designing and manufacturing parts for them to use in like a kit, for example, right? There's some like electric car company things, that projects that I have that are like really big deals that could potentially, you know, um, pay my bills for a year. Like this is big money and time investment. So yeah, I mean, but that kind of stuff isn't really like good content for like a Honda Civic or whatever. This is like a product development design, like a lot of computer stuff, a lot of trial and error things and sample stuff and back and forth, and first article sample, second article, okay, it works, okay, now packaging as far as like what kind of loom and what kind of connectors and all these part numbers, and it's so involved, and it's just more like business,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I do have a lot of these projects, that are like Formula Drift and stuff that's in the more pop culture
For
of
sure.
automotive
Yeah.
space. So I'm trying to target those, for the content side,
For sure,
and then
dude.
make the money, if you will, on these, like the only reason these people have heard of me is because of me putting myself out there with the other stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this guy can handle, if he could do this stuff, then he can handle what we need him for.
Yeah.
And then that's like the stuff that's kind of paying the bills.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good way to look at it, and look at it like, yo, this is paying the bills. Now this extra stuff that I do, these are seeds that I'm
Yeah,
planting.
right.
And although maybe I'm kind of losing out right now at this moment,
It's for the future.
it's for the future,
Right.
for sure. Bring up TJ again. Like, we he actually bought the first products from us.
I know this. Yeah, yeah.
And then
he bought it, and then you basically said, "Here's my number."
exactly. So anytime after that he needed anything, and it was at that time he had like 600K, which is very respectable,
Very respectful at the time,
but
yeah.
not the craziest. So it was just like, I don't know, it's not really my demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Let me plant this seed and let me see where this goes.
Yeah.
Turns out that's one of our top 3 products
Yeah.
now, and at that time it wasn't, because it was just not only that exposure, and this is the thing that people really don't look at it the right way, is when they do that first initial give them the product.
Yeah.
You can't expect that ROI right there.
Yeah.
And you're not even really going to be able to like to measure it.
Yeah. Like you might not even know for sure that's where it's coming from, but it like in your heart that actually that it is where it's coming
Exactly. So I know in my heart that if I never made that move with TJ to be able to give him that call and
Yeah.
make that introduction, that product might just be chilling.
from. Yeah.
And it might have blown, but that definitely helped put it on a sort of platform.
Of course.
So maybe there's like, fuck, I don't know if I want to do this like help this guy out with this harness, because like his demographic I really don't deal with. But when you start hearing your names in the Honda community, and then in the BMW community, and then these YouTube vloggers, and then in Formula Drift, and then everybody starts hearing your name all around, it's just like a household name.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like what you would strive for.
Yeah, and
you know?
I think it's getting there for sure.
For sure, dude. It definitely is, because you're doing like, you know, Formula Drift, you're doing like exotics and things like that. And I think the only thing that you're leaving on the table is showing that
Right.
a lot more.
Yeah, I know. I need to like kind of put it out there a bit more.
Yeah, and dude, I think that the vision that you have, especially if your girl starts working with you making these videos, bro, you could get to the point, you have the discipline of it, you could get to that point where you're uploading 3 times a week,
Yeah, that'd be
5 times
awesome.
a week, dude.
Yeah.
You know, because every single day you do have something interesting going on, no matter if it's interesting to you or not.
Sure.
Maybe if you're just like, you're numb to it, like, oh yeah, I'm going to Hoonigan again or something, but
Yeah.
like the people watching, they're fucking like, oh my god, that's like one of their dreams
Yeah.
that they would want to have.
Yeah, I like did a little bit of recording when I went there this last time to work on Scotto's car. So we did like all the wiring for this like Audi that he has. It's a really cool Audi. It was at SEMA, but it like wasn't running or anything at that point. So we did all the electronics on it and stuff, and I got a lot of cool angles and videos, and I kind of showed like the wiring. So I actually have like a little bit of content, like maybe like a reel's worth. So I wanna put that out there when kind of his car drops.
Oh, okay.
So I want to try to work up some kind of a reel for it.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
And that's the thing too, is that you got to be strategic about it, and it
Yeah.
all has to make sense at the right time.
Yeah, like I would want to post that now because it's not like tuned and done, but it's getting some other work done at another shop really quick, and then it's actually due back anytime. So as soon as he gets like, he's gonna put it out there, and then I'll be able to put out there my side, you know, the wiring and Hoonigan sign backdrop, and it's cool. It's
Yeah.
going to be good content for me. So.
Yeah, for sure. Now, as far as for Rywire as a company, would you ever want that to be more than just wiring, even though it's in the name?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I was even thinking about just you know, like you got to think big, right? On my way here, when I said that I turned off the podcast and I was thinking about stuff, I was like, damn, this could be like a repeatable. This build that I'm working on, it could be repeatable, you know. And like, what's different between some of these guys that are doing these like boutique cars? The only real difference between, like, you know, everybody knows Singer. That's like the big like boutique car
Okay.
that everybody seems to do, right? The 911. But there's other companies that are coming out with these like boutique resto mod cars where they want to repeat them, you know. I mean, who's to say that I can't do a Honda Civic or something like that, you know, and where we could do multiple cars, could hire a staff to put together, you do a donor car, and then, you know, you have like certain catalog of stuff. And I don't think it would be as boutique-y as something like a Singer, but what if it was just, you know, a repeatable project that you get the car put together by us or something like that. That's like a big level.
Hell yeah, dude.
So then that's not just wiring, right? But yeah, I mean, we do like cooling stuff. We do, you know, with Robbie's help and stuff like that. But yeah, I could definitely see that when I was saying, you know, the 3D printing and stuff like that. I wanted to make some like custom mount brackets and stuff for this project that I'm working on. So, I mean, think about that. That's not wiring, you know.
Yeah.
This might be like bracketries and like bushings and I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Rywire could be anything, right? We talked about this in the past, like it was just funny, but it just pops in my mind is, you know, I was talking about like electrical and homes and stuff like that, running like
Oh yeah,
DC, and there's actually been some companies that have come out with like more like power distribution systems where you can like, you know, monitor devices and currents and stuff like that on an app in your home. And I was like, well, what stops at an automotive? You can go bigger. And like there again, just to say this, you know, that Rywire could be something for a house. It doesn't have to be automotive wire related. It could be something different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely have thought about things like that, and I think that it could be anything.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. It's dope that you look at it like that.
I try to, because like I mean I want to have like everybody wants to rule the world, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, for sure. So as you may or may not know, we have a cult in Downstar. And to
Right.
join the cult, you have to text this number, 818-403-3473.
Yep.
We're almost about 1,000 people right
Pretty
now.
good.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's basically we can text back and forth. It's me answering the text.
Yep.
And
you give little deals and like early incentives. And
exactly.
Stuff like
We'll do like coupon codes or,
Mm-hmm.
go to this post and win a free whatever it is, a free
that.
kit or something
I think
like
that you
that.
included me in something like that before.
Yeah.
I was like, what are all these? What is the icons that always
Oh,
come
so
up?
it's a wine and
Yeah,
then
the
it's a
wine
wolf,
and the
dude.
wolf, yeah.
Yeah, because in the cult you have to drink like the Kool-Aid or something,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
you die and go to the Haley's Comet or whatever. You
Got
remember
it.
that
Yes,
shit, dude?
yes, I do remember Haley's.
What were they called? Oh my
Um,
god, they're
dude,
they're
it's been too
cult.
long.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's
That was
Gate
the
cult.
popular one. We were probably like 12, 13 years old or something like that. Like you're hearing about it. Like, what are these people? Like, what's going on?
So cults have a bad name to them, dude. But
Right.
we have a good cult, man. So if you guys want to join, just text the number 818-403-3473. And I mentioned to the cult earlier that you were going to come on, and I got a couple questions for you.
Okay, perfect.
So this one's from Troy Alexander. Is at Sleeper Academy. What keeps you motivated and keeps you going and evolving in the industry?
I think that what keeps me motivated. Well, I like to have happy customers, so that's definitely a motivational thing. I like to work with different people in the industry, and dude, like we would have never been friends if we didn't like work together in some capacity. Tons of people that I have really good relationships are simply because I had to work with them on projects, and I decided, or they felt the need that I would be a benefit to their project, and that I'm the man for the job. Big Mike, Ravi, like million people, but just the people that we've talked about in this immediate podcast, to name a couple of them. But that keeps me motivated because I learn something new every time. I'm really interested in that. People always ask me about my projects. Well, like why, like how come you would spend so much money and go into all this detail and whatever? I'm like, well, because this is like better than college. I'm learning more. I'm getting more out of this, and it's probably less expensive than putting myself through an institution and having somebody else teach me. So that keeps me motivated. Definitely the motivation of growing a brand, a business, keep putting money in my pocket so I can do cool stuff with cars. That's all motivation. Every day when I wake up, I want to get stuff sold. I want to make people happy. I want to make quick transactions and get exactly what they need, and me to be able to continue to move forward with my projects and learning.
Now, as far as being motivated, how do you keep yourself motivated with like your body and just feeling like, damn, dude, I gotta do this over again? Like how do you keep that discipline going?
Coffee.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. But I do drink coffee every day. I've changed the coffee that I've drank.
Stronger or what?
No, weaker.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to I was starting to get a little like, zzz, and like heart palpitation, like kind of not easy feeling when I was drinking those Vietnamese coffees like almost every day.
Those are so good.
I know they're so bomb, but I'm just like taking it easy and doing a very simple brew in the morning. But I mean, I kind of kid, but that helps me get out the door. Have some coffee in me. All right, let's like hit the day.
You never get like stressed out with everything that you got going on?
Oh yeah, there's definitely times where I got way too much going on, and it like I don't deal with stress all that well. I mean, my girl knows that I not dealing with stress sometimes very well. But I don't know that I really have a secret for that. I don't know that I have a secret for, just keep on keeping on. That's all. I just do my thing, and the repetitiveness of the day kind of just, that's all I could really say about that.
That's funny you say keep on keeping on, because the next question I have is from Joe Dirt, dude.
Okay.
Joe Dirt S2K, Joe Gaska. I think you may know the car. It's a like a silver S2000 with a LS on it.
An LS swap in it?
Yeah, LS
Okay.
swap.
Interesting.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Joe. Actually, I met him at SEMA. He came with his girl, and they just like stopped me.
Yeah.
And I talked to him for a second. Just like, you just meet great people, dude.
Yeah,
And he's
I
like,
know.
"Hey, I'm in the cult." I'm like, when they say that,
You're like,
or
yes.
or when they say like, "Oh, I like the podcast," that's a different thing.
Yes, yes.
And I love that. So Joe's question is, what car is in your living room right now?
My Civic hatch, my EA.
Got you.
It's the 80. I don't even know what year it is because the Japanese one, I think it's like a 85.
Okay. So what's the generation from that? Like the US?
It's the 3rd gen Civic.
So that would be what, 84 to 87?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Got you.
84 to 87. You know, I haven't put any of like the Porsches or anything in that space yet. Really, the only I put my S2000 and Aaron CRX, obviously for when, like, you know, Joey covered all that and everything, and the Civic hatch is in there right now. So the EA. Yeah.
So people are probably wondering, what do you mean in your living room a car? Can you break that down a little bit?
Right. So I've always had. I'm not okay. I grew up. Let's take it way back. Right
Yeah, let's do it.
I grew up in a very cool house when I was a kid. My dad, it was an old Victorian that my dad had renovated, and Victorian house it was in Pacific Grove, California, right by Lovers Point. There's like all these 1885 is when the house was built. Okay. It was
my God.
The first stucco house west of the Mississippi is like the rumor. Okay.
Wait, 1885.
1885.
Oh,
okay?
shit.
But it was very elaborate Victorian. In Pacific Grove, a lot of these houses are very like gabled roofs, and like it's really cool. Like architecture is something that I kind of grew up with. So what I'm getting at is my dad was into that. He renovated it. House was so tiny, he ended up extending on the back. But the extension on the back was all like mid-century modern style. So he like mid-mods architecture. Big windows, glass corners, like stuff like that. So he made this like really cool addition to the back of the home. You couldn't modify the front of these houses. They had to look a certain vibe, but you could do whatever in the back. So he like modded it in a really interesting way. It was a lot of windows. I thought that was really cool. My grandmother lived in Monterey, which is the town next door, and she had a custom built mid-century modern home, which was so dope. Like really big. It had a solarium, which is like a windowed area that you'd store plants and stuff like this, like a big light space. The hallways were all lit. Clear story windows, which the windows that basically go above, and so they let light in, but then they're still a wall, so you can't see in. It's like a high window, right?
Okay.
Bunch of that. The whole living room was all glass everywhere around, cantilevered over, and like very mid-mod style, like contemporary for the times. Super cool design. Moved to San Jose. There's tracks in San Jose with Joseph Eichler homes and stuff. So all these really cool like architecture things that I kind of sort of missed. Like I liked it, but I wasn't like heavy involved. I like to play golf. I like to skateboard. I like to do all these things. Architecture wasn't a thing until like I wasn't really into cars until I needed to buy a car. Well, when I wanted to renovate my house, I was like, man, I really like this mid-century architecture. So about six years ago, me and my wife started basically building a house with SketchUps, which is like a 3D program for architecture. So we're building out like, what's our dream house? Okay, how can we modify? How can we do a resto mod to this home where you do modern touches for a kind of a not historic, but like an older home. Mm-hmm. So this home was like 60s.
Okay.
60s home, and it was kind of like a you know what a parapet roof is? Like
No.
like this industrial building probably has a parapet roof. Flat roof, square, but then the top of the roof is kind of kinked, and then you have gutters down the
Okay.
side.
Gotcha.
So it was like a parapet design, which was like weird for the neighborhood because it's like an industrial building looking thing. So I was like, damn, we could do some dope shit with this because it's all square, and we could do real boxy, like square, modern, contemporary. So we ended up like creating an atrium, which is, it was just a courtyard, but then we made it an atrium. So you walk through the front door and then you're outside again. So it's this living space that's private. It's really neat, and it's surrounded by windows and stuff. And then we just did a little bit of add-ons. So one of the cool things was the garage had a pull through. So there was a boat door. So there's this boat access to the backyard, and that's kind of what they would do in the 60s is you'd have like, I live in Huntington Beach, so it's by the beach. You bring your boat home, you send your boat, through your garage into the backyard. So I was like, man, in a perfect world, I'd like to just like make this whole thing living space and build a big, like, approximately 400-ish square feet addition behind my garage. And what that could end up doing is that could allow a space where I could actually pull a car into, but I don't want it to be a garage. I want it to be a living space. So we ended up doing like a really big run of glass sliders, which is ended up being about almost 10 feet high and about 20 feet long. So if you could think like stacking sliding doors, like it was a big investment, but it adds a ton of light, super sick. We got a really nice little redone pool, and everything's hardscaped. Board formed concrete, which is an architectural touch that basically you pour the concrete to wood surroundings, and then you pop the wood off, and it leaves the heavy wood grain look in the concrete. So you may have noticed it before. The board formed. So we did a lot of that kind of stuff. It just turned out really fucking cool. And yeah, it turned out exactly how we designed it on paper. And it introduced a spot where we kind of have like our old living room, but it's kind of a sitting space. And then in the quote unquote pseudo addition, my girl calls it the solarium because it's just a big light room. And I can actually bring a car in, and then you can open up these giant thing of windows. You can stack it all the way down, and then it's just this like huge opening that flows out to the backyard into the pool, and the car chills there. We have couches in that room. We have TV. There's art and stuff like that, and it's just a real dope spot that it's just air's blowing through, and it's sick, man.
That's dope, dude.
So it's a kind of a secondary living room, but it's basically, that's why he said your car in your living room, because hey, it's kind of like my car's in my living room at that point. So.
Yeah, I haven't been there since you actually finished it.
I know, dude. You have to come.
I know,
dude.
I gotta go check it out, dude.
You weren't able to make my little party.
I know, man.
We did like a release for Aaron's CRX.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, the CRX is done, and everybody's doing these little parties for like the new cars, and I'm like, well, I hadn't really done like a proper like housewarming, so I ended up just kind of like grouping all that into one. And it was super cool just being able to have where everybody can come and see the house for the first time, but then they're also seeing the car. And then we did a bunch of like old Porsches in the front. Ravi's car was there. Aaron's other 911 was there. And Jared's 911 was all in my like driveway. And then in the garage, I had in the garage, just in the center of the 2-car space, I had my Civic hatch, my EA. And then we had Aaron's car in the actual like living space. Yeah. So it was just like flow through of all these cars. Everything's on display. It was all modern, and like I have a bunch of wood touches and concrete, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I've been wanting to make a trip out there, especially since I got the right hand running.
Yeah.
I want to take it for a little drive.
Yeah.
And then
park it in the house. And
that would be sick.
Take some pictures.
Do you ever have any problem with the car smelling? Like when it sits?
Yeah, but if it sits for a little while, it doesn't smell anymore.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, and like my EA, maybe like the first few days of it sitting there, it kind of smells. But that car kind of sucks because it's got all like the fuel lines are not hard. It's like it's kind of like, that's not like the high-end XRP fuel hose. It's like kind of the run-of-the-mill fuel hose, and it bleeds through a little bit. So you get a little bit of that gas smell, but that's because that car's so heavily modified And it only lasts a couple days, and
Oh,
then you
okay.
just like don't smell it anymore. And like people have told me it doesn't even smell in here, so I'm not just tripping. Like,
Got you.
yeah, but when a new car sits a couple days, you'll kind of smell gas. But like I said, I can kind of close that room off a bit, so we don't. It doesn't. If my chick's not bothered by it
Yeah.
and she's not complaining, then I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah. It's not like when people have cats and they're like, my house doesn't smell. And you're like, nah, bro. Your
Yeah, it
cat.
smells like
Hey,
cat.
if you guys have pets, your house stinks, dude. I don't care about how close you clean it.
That's true. That's true.
Let's see. One more question. This one's from Ronnie Finch, RFITCH3 on Instagram.
Okay.
What's your dream car to wire?
To wire. Oh my god. Dude, I don't know, man. My dream car to wire. Is he gonna? He's gonna buy one, and then he's gonna be like,
He
"Yo,
said he
this is
actually
your dream car. You have to do this for free, man."
follow up. It's a DeLorean, dude. He has a DeLorean. He wants you to.
He wants like
Yeah, all the switches.
like a time capsule thing. I don't know. I would say that I think that my dream car to wire would be like a parallel hybrid car. So
Okay.
something that has internal combustion engine, motorsports computer, whether it be, something cool, Motec Bosch, um, uh, Mtron, whatever, a really cool ECU with a really good power distribution, and also an electric motor because that's really complicated and that would be a huge challenge. And I think that that would be like the dream car for me to wire because I would probably have to have a couple tries at getting it right because it's a really complicated a project that I actually want to do one day. But a lot of times like the hardest projects are ones I end up kind of just taking on myself because I wouldn't want to like put a customer through something that I'm not like 100% on.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like I'd say the biggest challenge would be like a really cool parallel hybrid system.
So just the system itself, not even a chassis.
It doesn't have to be a chassis, but
Got you.
I don't know, like my favorite kind of chassis to wire. Dude, I really like Honda chassis to wire. Also like um RX-7 chassis are kind of cool. Um like big trophy trucks and shit are not fun.
Oh, okay.
I don't like climbing around, and I don't like when they're too small. Because I mean, even though I'm small, my back sucks, so it's really hard for me to like. It has to be comfortable, something comfortable to work with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Dude, what the fuck was I just gonna ask you? Just slipped my mind. But you've done like exotics and stuff. How are those to like? How
Yeah.
are those to actually work on? Just say like a Huracan.
Okay, so the problem with something like a Huracan is that everything is critical to be there. So if you want to pull the digital dash out of the Huracan, like you can't. If you want to pull the transmission out of the Huracan, you like kind of can't. So it's like a all or nothing, or it's some kind of an integration and it's a process. So when I work on a Huracan, for example, and we do one of our like packages that we don't really do much anymore of because we were working with Dallas Performance and they're not for different reasons. The owner is no longer, so
Okay.
we kind of didn't do as many of those anymore. But when we were working on those, it was almost like a layover. So you'd have to already have a lot of the factory electronics, and then you'd overlay all the additional stuff. You'd take out some things, like you'd take out the engine computers, and then you'd take out the engine loom, and then you'd replace it with a single engine computer and a new wire loom, and then you integrate to it. They're not bad to work on because you're only working on certain aspects. Front to back, I've never done one like front to back, but I mean, they're not bad because there's a lot of room in the back of the car, and you're not really working too much in the cabin. For the packages that I've done,
It's not that intimidating to work on.
it can be, but I'm not normally the one like wrenching and taking the components off.
Gotcha.
I'm more like, okay, now the engine's back in and it's already all built, and then we just have to like, we already took off the engine harness, or I would do that, and then we would overlay our stuff. Everything's kind of the same.
Would you ever get one? Like, what's your thoughts on exotics? I know you have your GT3.
Yeah, I like the GT3 a lot because it's really a driver's car. I haven't really spent any. I've never driven a Lamborghini. I don't know much about them, other than it's funny because like we've wired them and stuff. Like, but those cars are they're race cars. Like I'm not like I don't trust myself. I don't want to. I don't want my first rodeo in a Lambo to be like a 3,000 horsepower Lambo.
Yeah,
I just don't. Give me like something that's like 800-900 horsepower. Like give me one of those like supercharged ones. And then I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll have a run in it. But I'm not trying to drive something that's like 1,500 horsepower or more.
Yeah.
That's like, it's just too much.
Dude, it's crazy the power they're getting out of those, dude.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to. It's just not like high on my priority. I know you really want one.
Yeah.
It's not high on my priority as like aspirational car to like own or get.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of times those cars are they're it's sort of a bragging rights car, and I'm not trying to like sound a certain way about that, but I feel like an enthusiast car like 911's got me like I got a bug for 911 because they're simple, like a lot more simple. They drive, the handling on them is so good. Yeah, the power's not really there. Like mine's like a factory 420 horsepower or something. It's cool, it's fun, it's fast, but like it's really all you need for like circuit or street driving,
Yeah.
like the mountains and stuff. I think they handle really good, but that's the thing. I haven't really driven any Huracans or Aventadors or anything, so it'd be fun to have a go in. But when you get yours, you'll let me
For sure, you could drive it, dude. But that's the reason that I want it, is just like the flashy.
I mean, it's
it's
definitely flashy, dude.
That's like that's for Frank the kid, dude, inside of me.
That's your midlife crisis.
Oh, for sure. Bye. Hopefully, I'm not midlife right now. But
yeah,
it's a crisis for sure.
Yeah,
but from that aspect, it's like a trophy car to me. Like this is a symbol of I've made it to a point that I never expected.
Do you think that it would be something that you would at that point that you would hold on to for the rest of your life, or do you think that it would be a stepping stone? Even though it's like something you're aspiring to and it's like a trophy, is that like a short-lived trophy that's going to be a stepping stone?
Well, I mean, I think every trophy is going to be short-lived from now, no matter what.
Because you never can ever feel that way again.
Never. Yeah, I've said this before. It's like, the way that I felt when I was, in 2010, when I got Work Equip 03s brand new in the box. No other set of wheels is ever going to give me that feeling.
Yeah.
It's just because there's so many other things that like are in the equation.
Yeah.
Now, so when I get the car, it's not going to be like, this is a feeling that I was looking for. Or I can't wait till I get it, so then I could this or that or whatever. It's more of just a trophy to myself, payment for all the hard work.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have any problem with it just chilling, because Gallardo right now is still a fucking beautiful car.
Yeah.
You're talking like a 07 or something like that. It's still such a beautiful car. So I'd love to have something like that. Maybe the weekend car, we'll take it out to go to dinner or something like that, or take Christian, drop him off at school, or he doesn't even give a shit about that kind of stuff anyways.
That's funny.
But then it'll come when the time is right. But after that, I don't really have any other cars that I would want. I have the M8 right now, and I've really been actually thinking about keeping it too, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we leased it until next year, so next May. I'm like, bro, I just fucking love that car.
That's good.
So much, dude. Like every aspect of that car, I love it, and it'll keep up with a Huracan, so it's not like it's even like a slow car too.
Right. Yeah. But it definitely will.
So then I don't know. I'm just trying to think about like what would be cool. What I've really been looking at too is I became a fucking Beamer boy out of nowhere, dude. Like the X6M comp. Ooh, such a beautiful fucking car, dude, and it's fast too.
When I had my E46, I was like, dude, I probably see myself just daily driving a BMW like forever.
Yeah.
Because the E46 M3 was such a good car.
Such
a good
dude.
car.
So sick.
Just for like, just to drive, just to drive every day. So I totally get you. If your car's fast.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the steering feels really great. Just like one of the most impressive things with it BMW for me was like the brakes and the steering.
Mm.
And I also really like the wheel placement over the front nose, where it doesn't feel long. You could just like, even if the car's lowered, you could still just like drive up and down driveways, and you don't have to like, the slammed crazy angled and scraping everything.
Sure.
Like the car will be a little bit lowered, and it handles amazing. And you could put big wheels on it. And it stops really good, and it accelerates well, and you just drive it like a normal ass car.
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked about the E46. So I could imagine like, M8s and all these things are probably have all that, just like way more power.
Dude, I love it. It's like I know where I can go because I know when I press the gas it's gonna go, and when I press the brakes it's gonna stop. It really feels like I'm part of the car.
Oh yeah.
Which fucking spoiled me, bro, because then I'll drive the right hand. I'm like, wow, this is annoying.
Yeah,
and I'm not even going nowhere,
I know,
dude.
you're like, this isn't really very fast anymore. It kind of handles kind of shitty.
Dude, and then you go on a drive and you're just like, damn, that was a fucking workout, dude.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing. I picked up a really good deal on a 1995 Carrera S 911.
Okay.
Right? And it's air cooled, like with the last of the air cooled body. It's got all the modern suspension. The engine's way more powerful with like the 3.6. So it's the air cooled car though. Air cooled. It's actually oil cooled.
Yeah.
But the air cooled, quote unquote. And I never really driven one before, but there's so much hype around air cooled cars. I mean, right? Like that's like driver's car. Like this is the best, greatest of all time. So, I like it. It's interesting to drive. Granted, my seating position in the car is not good. It's got like pole positions in it and stuff, and I'm really short, and it's just I really need to work on my seating position. I'll be way more comfortable. The seat belt just like gets me right in the neck, and it's like really kind of uncomfortable. But and the pedals are shifted way over to the right. Okay. So what I'm getting at is I was expecting this amazing experience, this visceral feeling that everybody talks about, and I don't want to be a hater, but I really wasn't that impressed with it. I love the car, and like it was such a good buy, and it's an investment, and it's just like it's a great thing to own and have, and it's beautiful. And I do enjoy driving it, but like my 997 RS is like an amazing car to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels really fast. The throttles, it sounds amazing. The handling is wild. The steering is great. I mean, it's slammed to the ground. It's just like, I'm just glued to the road. The seats are perfect.
Yeah.
My seating position is way better. The car is just wild. And I haven't driven a lot of cars. Like everybody's like, oh, here's the keys. I'm like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm straight. Like, and a lot of times I'm not comfortable in other people's cars just because their size difference.
Got you.
So like, there's some cars I've worked on where like I actually kind of wanted to drive them and stuff, and I like can't physically. Like it's the dude's like 6'7", and I'm like, pfft.
Oh, and the seats are just
Yeah,
in
like
position.
there's not even. I couldn't even push the clutch in probably.
Yeah.
It's like it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't driven a lot of cars, just because I don't really fit comfortably a lot of times in them. And I don't want to mess up people's stuff. I don't want to be the guy that touched it last, and I just, dude, shit happens, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 997 experience is pretty unreal. So if a car could kind of beat that experience, then it's definitely something that I would want to like try out.
That car's sick, dude.
It is.
I remember that time we were going to, what was it? That like cruise that we went to and we met in downtown LA?
Oh, right. That was at downtown LA. It was one of those quick strikes.
There you go. It was a quick
we
strike.
went to a quick strike.
Yeah.
It was at that Ezekiel dude's like warehouse area in
like
LA.
downtown or some shit. Yeah.
Yep.
That was the craziest shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
that whole area was just packed with the wildest fucking cars.
Wildest cars, and the roads were like the worst ever that you could ever imagine. Yeah. But we got on the highway.
Yeah.
And we were fucking smashing, dude.
That shit was so fun.
Yeah.
I had to check myself, bro.
Oh, me too.
Because I was like, yo, bro, you got to fall back right now.
Yeah.
Because then there's fucking Ferraris and shit going on. Just going. I'm like, no.
People were driving reckless. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
think
man.
I don't go nuts in that car. I think I've driven like maybe like 145 or something.
Oh,
Like
really?
nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I did like a track day with it, but I mean, I'm conservative. I want to die, dude.
Yeah, for sure. You have to think about that shit.
I know.
Like even the M right now, I have the 22s on there, and it's like 30 series tires.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, because you can't tell when they're low or not, and
Yeah,
I don't have the sensors
that's true. Oh,
inside.
you have TPMS.
No,
Yeah.
because at the time I was getting them, the guy, I don't know if the car was too new or not. He couldn't get it to read it. So I said,
Yeah.
fuck it, because I just want to put the wheels on.
Yeah.
But I fast forward to now, I'm like, bro, I can't tell. And sometimes like they will have a slow leak in them, and
Yeah.
I've driven the car before with a slow leak and not even knowing it. And dude, when I took the car to I forget where it was. I met up with Ravi, and we
Yeah.
put the coolers on it, the CSF
Got it.
coolers for
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And I drove it home, and I had a blowout, dude, because of that same fucking problem, because I didn't know that it was low on air.
Yeah.
So then recently I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna put the stocks back on there.
Yeah. If you're cruising at over 100 miles an hour, so if you have a blowout,
Yeah, for
scary.
sure, dude.
I mean, you're in a safe car, and I mean, it does handle really well, so you should be able to like recover and be okay. But dude, I had a blowout one time. I was driving with my friend. He was kind of smashing. We were on the highway 99, like way up north.
Mm-hmm.
We were kids. We were like shooting guns at this like gun place. We had like there was all this ammo and guns in the back of this car, right?
Oh shit.
And because we were just going to the range or something. Like I don't really shoot, but like he wanted to do it, so we did it and whatever. And we were way up north, NorCal, hella NorCal.
Yeah.
And we were like in this Acura Legend or whatever, and he was smashing, like we're doing like 90 on the freeway, and he just had a blowout. And I mean, I'm like riding in the center, like in the back center, and there was like 5 people in the car, and like I just have like a little lap belt,
Yeah.
and like I'm holding on to kind of like the back of the headrests almost, And homeboy just like kind of freaked out. My buddy, he like panicked a little and hit the brake, and the car just spun, and I'm facing the car's oncoming. Like we're literally like we just spun around, right? And then we ended up coming to a slow a little bit, and then we went like off the road up this hill and through a fence. Okay.
Oh,
and it was like
shit.
no problem. Like we just the muffler ate a bunch of dirt. We had to clean that out. There was a little bit of body damage on the back. We were cool. And it was just a blowout, and we got to the side and we changed the tire, and it is what it was. But then when we got back on the road, we were like literally like I don't know, 80 more yards or whatever the hell it was, like just right when we started going, we were like, oh shit. There was literally like where we went off, we went uphill. But then there was another spot where it would have just been downhill, like violently. Like we could have flown off the road and just rolled like 100 times. Like
Wow.
it was crazy. So yeah, it was just, we're lucky that we went off and we went backwards up this hill, up like an embankment.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if it was a little bit further, there was a bridge, could have hit the bridge rail, or we could have, bounced around right there. We could have gone through the bridge. I don't know. Could have gone early and then down a cliff. Like, yeah, dude,
Yeah.
you don't know. And that's just because of a tire blowout.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
going back to what you're saying, it's very important to kind of have those TPMS sensors telling you that, hey, it's a little low.
Yeah, and
Check
then
that.
there's higher profile tires too, and
Yeah.
smaller diameter wheels, so it'll feel better a lot, especially at higher speeds. It'll
Yeah.
feel a lot more comfortable.
But yeah, having some of that sidewall and like being able to see if it's low and more cushion, and
Yeah.
like when you go like less bumpy and stuff like that with this.
Yeah, I think
lower
that's
profile.
that's to my elevation or my evolution of being an enthusiast
Mm-hmm.
to like things in the past that I would do and that I would sacrifice. I probably wouldn't do it nowadays.
Yeah, like I mean things like rims, like that's the first thing you do, what you used to do. You know what I mean? The first thing you do is you get wheels and suspension or whatever. But like I kind of daily drive an S2000 that's just kind of stock, and factory wheels are on it. Like I don't have like a big desire to like mod it really, because I'm like I realize what it's for. It's a tool for me to go from one place to the other, and it's a luxury that I get to do it in a car in a style and the feel that I enjoy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, for
So
sure.
like you kind of have to, I kind of tell clients that from time to time, and they don't really want to hear it. Like maybe don't heavily modify your car that you rely on to get to work, you know?
Dude, everybody listening, you need to have two cars. You need to
Yeah,
have your
for
daily
real.
and your other car. Like,
Yeah.
you have to really stay disciplined on that shit, dude,
Yep.
because without a car, you screw yourself, bro. Especially if you have a job, like you
Yeah.
have to go to work and shit. Like that
And
doesn't
th-
make no sense.
and then what happens? Then you lose the money and then you lose the car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you kind of need, like, I remember I may have even told this story on a podcast like before with you or something, but I had a client that he was all pissed off because like one of his brake lines like somehow rubbed on his tire. It was one of the like soft hose kits that we like sell sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey man, I'll just send you a replacement part or whatever, but I'm not gonna like overnight it, and I'm just gonna put it in the mail, and there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, how am I gonna get to work? And he was like mad at me because he's kind of blaming, oh well, it shouldn't have been touching the tire and whatever, and it wasn't. It was just the way that the situation of how he installed it or
For
whatever,
sure.
right? And I'm just like, yeah, it sucks, but dude, why are you modifying? Like, why do you have like do you need a tucked brake line kit on like your daily though? Why? You know?
Oh my god.
I would think that like brakes and serviceability and stuff like that, like I could see, okay, you would want maybe like wheel tire package, maybe lower it an inch and put some stickers on the back and maybe a muffler or something. Okay, like I get it, like everybody has the desire to like modify. But a brake tuck kit on like a daily, like what's the point of that?
Yeah. A lot of it, I think it's a lot bragging rights too.
Sure.
Especially like static versus air. A lot of that shit
Yeah.
is just bragging rights. I drive my car the most fucked up way that I can, and I still do it.
Yeah, and you still do it. Yeah,
it's like-
but then you're gonna start pointing blame at people or yourself or whatever when now you can't really get to work as easily.
Crazy car guys, dude. We
And
do
you're
some
like,
crazy shit.
Ubered to work and because my car's so slammed, or you know what I mean?
Dude, if you weren't into cars, what do you think you would be into?
I think I would probably be into architecture.
Really?
I think so, because that's something that I am into a lot on the side. I think I would be a lot more into fitness if I didn't injure myself, like my back and stuff like that. I could see myself being a bit into fitness because when I was in college, I was really into like lifting and like all that kind of stuff. I was pretty like not involved, but I was definitely interested in it.
Like benching and shit?
Yeah, I mean like just muscle tone and
Being sexy?
yeah, trying to be sexy. Maybe I would try to figure out some like hair loss formula so I could like pour it on my head and
When you just gonna go with a straight baldy, bro?
maybe I should.
Yeah.
That's why I wear a hat all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like when I do shoot YouTube videos, like straight up, I'll tell you guys full transparency. I reach for the camera and my hat.
Yeah.
What hat am I gonna wear? You know what I mean? Because I don't want y'all to see my bald ass head.
Hey, do baldies like you get mad at people like me who wear hats all the time that just have luscious locks? Yeah.
Flowing hair.
You never know till it's gone. I just take advantage of it. You know? What does it say? Appreciate everything you have.
Yep.
Like it's hard for me to appreciate hair because I've always had it, dude.
Yeah.
But then when I don't, my dad's got good hair still
That's
too.
good. That's good.
He's already in like mid 60s, and it's just thinning out a little bit.
I think my dad's got pretty good hair too. It was my grandfather that had really bad hair.
Really?
Yep. But I probably got that. My mom used to tell me when I was a kid, "Oh, you're so lucky, your hair's so thick and like whatever." And I'm like, I don't care, because I'm like 12 or something. Who cares, right? It's the least. Your eyebrows are so. Women would die to have your eyebrows. Oh, your green eyes. Oh, when you get older, those green eyes are gonna really. And I'm like, shut up, mom, shut up, right? And then now I'm like looking back, I'm like, okay, bald now. That hair thing that she said was false, right? My eyes still kind of work every now and then. Some like old ass lady is like, your eyes are beautiful. And I'm like, oh, are you hitting on me? Or are you just really like appreciating my eyes? And then my eyebrows, I think that they just make me look mean.
I think it's just the way that you shape them, dude.
Yeah.
when you pluck them,
When I pluck them.
when you do the
No,
arch.
actually, you know what? I'll be real. Like old ass men have like long, like random, like long eyebrows. I gotta take a scissor and I gotta cut all that shit off.
Hey,
'Cause
same.
that shit starts like, just spraying out. I'm like, fuck, dude, my ears, like big old hairs coming out of my ears and shit.
Really?
That's what happens I'm almost 40, man.
That's not, dude.
I'm washed up.
40 is not old anymore, bro. When you're close to 40,
Yeah.
that's not old anymore.
No.
40's a new 30.
Yeah, I guess so.
Dude, I felt like when I was in my 20s, I felt at that time like I know everything. And now you look back,
yeah.
I'm like, I was a fucking idiot, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. I was the guy that put fucking brake line tuck kit on my daily, bro. That was me. I'm just trying to tell these kids that, hey, dude,
Don't do like I
you
did.
don't need all that stuff. You just need to be able to get to work, pay your bills, and
And shut up and listen to the government.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, dude, what do you think's gonna happen, bro? With
What?
life,
Oh man,
we're in a weird universe.
yeah.
I was talking to Nads, and I was trying to convince him that we're in a different universe.
We like took a wrong turn somewhere.
Yo, I was telling him, this is my theory, guys. I don't know if this is if I seen this somewhere,
Okay.
or if I just invented it. So if
Okay.
you guys see it somewhere, let me know, because maybe I'm plagiarizing,
Right.
or maybe I'm just creating a new theory, dude.
Okay. What is that?
Okay, so a little after we got back from Auto Salon, I changed the whole universe. No, I'm just kidding, guys.
Yeah, maybe our plane actually crashed and then like
Maybe,
we landed
dude.
and fucking we were in an alternate
In
reality.
a different universe.
Yeah.
But when Kobe died, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kobe's death affected so many people
Yeah.
because he was more than just a basketball player.
Right. Inspirational guy, dude.
For sure. So like, to me, I'm not a sports guy, but obviously I knew Kobe. I knew I knew an introduction into who he was as a person.
Yes.
And that's me not even being a fan of basketball or
Right.
caring
Right.
at all. So if you know certain things about certain people, you're talking like Kobe, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, like all these names you could say, and they're pretty universal names. You don't have to know about
You
them.
don't have to know all the details. Yeah.
So whenever you would see somebody pass away, it was like, damn, that's sad. But it wasn't world affecting.
yeah, it hit different.
There you go. See, Ryan's already young, dude. You're getting hit, bro. It hit different. When Kobe died, it hit different.
Yeah.
So I wonder if at that time, within that hour, because it really didn't take much for
Yeah.
it to be every single place
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
What if there was so much sadness that it actually affected some sort of like change,
Right.
and put us into
It like saddened everybody enough that it changed the direction that everybody was going.
exactly
And then
in that
cumulatively
sort
it
of
just-
universe. Yeah, because after that, then everything else started happening.
Right.
COVID started happening, and then just the world just started to crumble.
Yeah.
And then where I feel we're at right now is in the beginning of the end of what we know life to actually be like.
Yeah.
Especially since us being the United States, we were kind of the last of the Mohicans, dude, of freedom and of like dreams, and you could be actually what you want to be.
Yeah. And then it does feel like that's changing pretty significantly.
Yeah, and although people are, they're thriving in this time, maybe financially they're thriving, but on another side of things, like, are you really thriving? Are you doing better? Like, a lot of people's headspace is real fucked up.
I mean,
right now,
it's pretty obvious and clear, just the amount of like school shooting stuff and like, dude, we hear about it maybe every like few months, but this is actually happening on a daily basis. If there even is 365 days in a year, just kidding. No, but in 365 days
Okay.
of a year, apparently this is like a once a day kind of a deal. where
and
there's
it just
some
doesn't
kind of
reach mass
it's
because
old
it was
news 'cause it's
under
not significant enough
for sure. it just seemed like everything just started to go downhill. And like I was saying, I feel like we're in the beginning of the end of civilization as we know it. And it's crazy to say something like that, but then it's not, because if you look at like just time wise, dude, we've gone through so much stuff within,
Short.
in the past in such a short time. So
Yeah.
it's not saying that we can't ever go back to something like that.
Yeah.
Even we were talking about like I was talking to I was watching this show on Netflix
Okay.
that it's about the internet, and it's about how the internet kind of twists everything and kind of like
Yeah.
molds people. And then it was this girl, I forget the name of the show. It's called Fake Web or
I
something.
think I might have saw an episode of that last night.
What was it about?
It was about a dude that like was doing these. He was calling in these fake
Yeah,
bomb threat
yes,
kind of things.
yeah. So
And then ended up getting a guy and his family killed, and then like one thing led to another, and it was a disaster. And he like didn't think it was his fault. It's a joke. And he was,
swatting, dude.
yes,
Yeah.
swatting. Okay.
So
So say it was that. Is that what it is?
it's the same series.
Okay.
So I don't
I'm-
want.
So yeah, don't spoil it because I actually do. Well, or you could spoil it. I'll watch it no matter what. But
So this girl, she moves to a different state or something, ends up meeting this guy, doesn't have any friends or anything,
Sure.
falls in love with this dude. He ends up being like a neo-Nazi. Fast forward, like she ends up becoming a Nazi. And I was watching that, and I'm not aware of like like white supremacists and things like that, but there's a lot of content for that field of
Got you.
people that think like that, right?
Sure, sure.
So I was just thinking, like, bro, how far away from are we from when like Hitler was around and stuff?
It's
And
not
it's
that
not. It
long
wasn't
ago.
that long ago. So it's not hard for me to think that the world that we know it could be changed.
Right.
And of course, I always gear more towards like conspiracy stuff because
Yeah.
it's interesting to me, and it's interesting perspectives. And after watching that show, it kind of makes me like weary.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the information I'm getting. I don't know
Right.
who it's coming from.
Yeah, you don't know if
both
it's even
sides.
really accurate.
Yeah, from both sides of it. And then I'm just thinking, like, man, things are really, really bad right now. Like, it's been worse before, obviously.
Yeah.
But did we know it was worse before? Because we didn't have social media to see how things were around the entire world.
Yeah, social media definitely changes the dynamic of that stuff.
And that's from 2010 and up, because the general public really didn't use social media prior to 2010.
Right.
I mean, you and I were on it, Facebook,
Yeah,
MySpace,
Facebook, but that's just to communicate
forums
with
and
friends
shit.
more.
Of course, I was never really aware of things that were going on around the world because of Facebook.
Right.
But now, those are the places that I go to. Like when something happens, I go directly to Twitter, because that's when you get the quickest information
Got you.
on what's actually going on.
Because
That-
everybody's tweeting about it instantly.
Exactly. So knowing that news can spread that quickly, and the masses know about some significant event that's happening, like a Kobe. People watching this could think that is so stupid, and it is stupid, but it is just like, it's fun just to think about these things and say, like,
Well, it was
what
definitely
if?
like, all these problems were happening in the world, and it was something that kind of hit close to home, and it was real personal to people. And it was just that final, like, you get jabbed with a knife, and then it's the turn of the knife. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of a feeling, like, oh, great, now you're gonna,
And then
this too, kind
this
of a-
too, and then that at that point we're like, fuck, this too, the world's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what the fuck was coming, dude.
Yeah.
COVID came, and
Like,
then
hit hard.
all the race wars, and then about like the sexuality wars that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Like, these are all sub wars that we're actually in, that people just don't really realize that they are. And it's just a weird fucking time right now, dude. And just trying to like,
And even just like for the world, as far as like things like we're running out of oil, we're running out of water, we're running out of these natural resources, where like ecosystems are dying underwater, coral, dude, like this just something that jumps out in my head was coral when I was snorkeling in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Got to wear special sunscreen. Don't want to touch anything. You know what I mean? Because you're literally killing these ecosystems that are relying on all these other, like, dude, all the corals turning white everywhere because there's no color in it. They're just, the corals are just dying. And this is the same as like an animal, a critical animal that is keeping other animals alive. Because if there's no coral, then there'll be no fish. There's no fish, and there's this, and then they're going to be, the whole oceans will be just a certain whatever can survive, and everything's going to be dead, and then that's going to turn, everything above land to slowly die. And this has all happened in the last like 100 years.
Yeah.
Like that house, that 1885 house. You want to think about like something, a harsh reality of change. When that house was built, it was like there's nothing around.
Yeah.
And then now look at what we've done in just like 100 something years. We've like completely flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
We thought there was unlimited water and unlimited resources, and then now it's like, I don't even know if I want to move to Las Vegas. Like, like somebody could say that, because how do you even get water out there? All these things are drying up. These aqueducts and all these things are like they're not even going to be there soon.
Yeah.
It's like scary to think that we're just like destroying the world at such a rapid pace. That you're right. I mean, like, how much longer could we even sustain?
If all of that stuff is true, if they're giving us these facts,
because they are giving, it seems like they're giving a lot of false facts. I was talking to somebody recently about who had COVID, and he was telling me some crazy ass stories about, he was on his deathbed. He like literally, the doctor saved his life.
Oh wow.
And he had to, he told me like, dude, the doctor was like, you're on the organ donor list. The first thing I need you to do is get yourself off of the organ donor list. And then he's like, you have a do not resuscitate. I need you to fill out this form so I can resuscitate you. And apparently he died a couple times. He had to be resuscitated like twice.
Wow.
Yeah. Big deal. Like, he was dead, he's alive now and he's healthy, but like the doctor saved his life. And there were certain things the doctor was like, I'm going to put you on some experimental things, and I'm going to do a lot of blood work, and I'm going to do some interesting things that you might not think is the right way to do it, but I'm going to save your life. But yeah, dude, there's a lot of, they're not telling us a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And a lot of that is getting uncovered, especially about COVID. You start to see things that, what the fuck are you guys doing with us? Is this week, this is cool. Next week, this isn't cool. Then this you're getting banned forever for even mentioning it. And then fast forward, now that's fact. It's like, dude, what the hell? And you could see that there's so many agendas popping up. So when all these things are popping up, you're like, wait, hold on. What the hell is really going on?
Right. If you really start digging into things, and people are just so they only see things in the first layer, and then you really got to dig to the next layer and the next layer. But as you go deeper into things, you notice like, oh, well, this company is owned by this company. This company is influenced by that company. Like, I think that the next president's not going to be a person. I think it's going to be a company, because it pretty much already is a company. You're just a figurehead, and all you're doing is you're showing face for whoever's backing you and paying your way to get what they want.
Yeah.
Because that's all it really is.
For sure. And even about like that show that we're talking about, there's another one that actually has to do with like the government, and somebody that worked for the government ends up getting killed.
Yeah.
And like them putting a whole conspiracy towards that. And then there's one guy that jumps in with this poor family and does like he gives them like $100,000 for the reward to offer to figure out information about how their child died.
Yeah.
And then this dude, he's like a lobbyist or something. And you're like, fuck, dude, who do I trust?
Yeah. Who can you trust, and whose agenda is not just for themselves or for the place they work for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so hard to even figure it out because when you find somebody that like, yeah, that's the guy that I want to stick behind, then you start hearing other shit,
Right.
you know? And then even like with the Nazi girl, like they were backing Trump like crazy. So it's so hard because like Trump got so much about like, yo, you're part of white supremacists, but you're there they attached to him
Right.
because they felt like his ideas were more of
An even match
exactly.
compared to maybe a different.
So then you look at it from the opposite side of it. Like you have all these Nazis that support you, you're a Nazi. It's like, yo, what the fuck is really going
Right,
on,
right,
dude?
right.
And it's crazy, and all of this stuff is it's really brought me to like locally like, yo, I'm not gonna be worrying about this shit, dude. And when I see stuff pop up, I'll scroll past it. And before I would actually dig into it, try to figure out what actually happened, and then I think one of the last things was the Vegas shooting,
Okay.
at the festival.
Yeah.
If you guys look into that, dude, there's zero answer to what happened. What they say happened with Paddock, it doesn't make sense at all. Like the weapons that were there in the pictures, the ammo and shit, the sheriff like contradicting stories, and so much weird stuff went around that. And then that was October 1st, and then by November, the story was gone.
I
It's
know.
like the biggest mass shooting that's happened in the U.S. like as of recent time, and nothing about it. I remember we went to SEMA like right after that happened. It was just such a fucking
Right.
eerie
Yeah.
feeling, dude.
Yeah.
And for them to not do their due diligence on
Yeah.
it, and then you see the things about like the school shooting that happened, and then they didn't go in to the school,
Right,
and
right.
then they did go in, but then they told them to stand down. Like, bro, what the
Yeah.
fuck
and then
is
they were only
going
going
on?
in to try to get their own kids out or whatever, and then I don't know, dude. Like, but what do you believe, and what's real and what's not?
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't even know if this is real, dude. Like the point where you go to sleep at night, that is so weird, dude. You go to sleep and then you have a dream, and then
Yeah.
you're literally like feeling it. All your senses, everything is working depending on how good like you're able to dream.
Yeah.
And then you just wake up and then you're assuming everything is the same that it was when you went to sleep.
Right.
But how do you know?
I mean, in a dream though, you can never. Stuff's so. I want to say stuff's so weird, but it's hard to do physical things in a dream.
Like
you
fight,
know?
you can't fight in a
You
dream.
can't. You're always running uphill, and things are slowing down. And I mean, maybe some people feel like that, but I don't normally feel.
Yeah.
The dreams are so obvious to me, I suppose.
You've never had a dream where you feel like, I don't know, because there's not a point where it's like a consciousness like it is now.
Yeah,
But-
it's a different. You're way more clear in real life. So,
But there's
to me, real life is when the clarity, and dreams are confusing, and don't make any sense. But as reality starts to turn more like a dream, where things really are not clear and don't make much sense, then there's that crossover.
Yeah, for sure. Who knows, dude? But I really just like to think about things like this because I just don't like to take things at face value.
Right.
Especially when you know that the people that are giving you things at face value are doing it for whatever their own personal gain. Like if you look at the media, how does the media get paid? From their sponsors or their advertisers, right?
Yep.
It's a business.
It's a business.
They
100%.
they get paid by their advertisers to run this show.
Yep.
And just like I was talking, like the conversation I had with Nads, we were talking about sponsorships and
Sure.
things like that. And then when you see like somebody that you really look up to start getting sponsored by a knockoff company, and you're
Right.
like, damn, bro, like why are you doing that? Well, because they're paying the money.
Yeah, they incentivize you and that way, and you have to So you got to be able to, you like somebody, an outsider has to be able to look through that.
Exactly. But what if you can't? You know,
Right,
what
right,
if you
right, right.
can't, and then you do? Hey, if that guy runs it, he's the best drifter. I want that too. Not realizing what that company actually does, and that's such a smaller scale to what's actually going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and as far as like companies and sponsorships and stuff like that, like there's, if you've noticed, there's been a bunch of companies that have gotten bought out by bigger companies as of lately.
Mm.
It's pretty crazy to see, you
I've
know?
I know of two of them, but I didn't really dig much into it. But the company that did buy them, I'm not really aware of who they even are.
Mm. Yeah, there's a few big ones now, and I feel like it's really turning into like, if you ever looked at like the food umbrella
Mm-hmm.
with like Nabisco and I don't remember who the big ones are, but they own like
Like
every,
Coca-Cola or
like,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
for
like
sure.
the brands that are the parent companies and how many offshoot brands they have that you think are competing, but they're actually under the same corporate umbrella. Um, like for example, Wheel Pros,
Mm-hmm.
right? They own a company that we would maybe associate as a knockoff wheel company,
Mm-hmm.
lower end. Um, they own another company that we would associate as a high end wheel company, okay, like Rotiform. Okay, they would invest a lot more money in that. What we would associate with, I don't want to say it's a knockoff brand, but we would associate it with more of a knockoff brand because their sales are higher.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't see investing as much money into their higher profile brand wheel because the return on the investment isn't really there.
Mm-hmm.
If they market heavy this lower valued company, well, priced company with greater volume, it makes sense to them because, if they want to be a corporate brand, they need to sell units. And we would go, oh, no, the premier brand is where you want to focus your money. But this smaller brand that's more of a knockoff associated, they're investing 100 times more investment into that brand because it nets 100 times more profit than the higher end, if you will, brand.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, dude, we see that everywhere, and it's just crazy to see because there's companies that'll just sell units, and there's companies that'll sell a lifestyle,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then that's where we get full circle talking about, Rywire. Maybe there's people that didn't know what you've done in the past or know your story.
Right.
And what if they just get into the community and they see these knockoff brands
Right.
being repped by, Von Gittin Jr. or something like
Sure.
that? Not saying that
Sure.
he is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just
But
something
just
like that. Well, I've never heard of Rywire. Von Gittin Jr. is repping this company.
right.
I'm gonna buy this company.
Yeah, the other company or whatever. Of course.
And then I feel that you lose culture like that. The true automotive culture, whichever scene that you're in or whatever part. Like, I feel like everything is getting infiltrated
Yeah.
right now by business.
Yes, definitely. Everybody's getting infiltrated by business. Like there's some big electronics companies in our immediate world that have actually changed ownership just as of late. Haltech sold.
Mm-hmm.
So Haltech ECU is now not owned by the same owners that they've always been out of Australia. He sold. And then Motec sold. Did you hear that?
Oh wow.
To Bosch.
Okay.
So Bosch is a huge brand. They're not just a engine computer brand. They are Bosch. They make tons of stuff, even not even in the automotive space,
Mm-hmm.
or like automotive focused, but not. They're huge.
Yeah.
And then they've absorbed or bought out Motec. And it's all just crazy to hear and see just these massive changes. Like we have a mutual friend that just sold his business and, bought out by a larger business, one of the big, heavy kind of 3 or 4 groups right now that are picking up a lot of companies. But yeah, it's pretty wild to see the dynamic change, and then it's just really it's branding, it's corporate at that point.
Yeah, and then when you get to that point, then you can't be having conversations like this.
No, you have to have a different mindset, and it's all about the company and your stock options and your
Yeah.
investors. There's investors and there's it's just a whole different. It turns back to the okay. You and I don't. We didn't want to work for a corporate company. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we started our own small micro business, right? With stuff that we love to do. But then when that all of a sudden comes, now you've been fully pulled back into this environment that you were just trying to get away
Yeah.
from the beginning, and now you're back full circle in a corporate environment potentially again.
Yeah, and I always think like, man, what would I want Downstar to be in the future?
Right.
And then I kind of think like, man, right now I have so much freedom
Yeah.
to do this. Whatever I say here, it's I said it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fire me.
No.
I could lose customers, I could gain customers, but it's on me.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to open a skate shop, I just do it. I don't have to ask anybody if I have the freedom to do it or what have you. If the business got bigger, if I had more responsibilities, more people to answer to, would I enjoy it as much?
Not likely.
You know, not likely, because there's not really much that I can't do right now. There was other things that I would like not want to have to worry about.
Yeah. Like if you had a blanket of cash and a budget for marketing, and you don't have to like make a budget for marketing, you would just like have a budget for marketing. You
Yeah.
could sponsor more people, you could take more trips, you could visit different shows or whatever the case to help spread brand, and you wouldn't even have to think twice about, oh man, did I travel too much this month? Did I like am I really getting a return on this? Nah, dude, you have this budget, you use it. If you don't use it, then it just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
for
I've
sure.
worked with some bigger companies and they're just like, dude, like we have this budget to do this and this is what we have, so we just use it all.
Yeah. It would definitely be nice, but I don't know if it would be something that I would want to give up my comfort
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, you'd have to really think hard about that.
Yeah. But I don't know. I even though like things are changing a lot, I feel there's always going to be that core culture. And if there's those certain people that just stick core and don't sell or don't change the way that they're working just to appease their whoever's invested in their company. As long as there's those people that are just like, this is what we do, we're gonna do what we do, and it's gonna still stay around. And I think that that's gonna be a lot more attractive to the consumer.
Yeah.
But I do understand people selling, especially at this time right now,
Yeah, definitely.
with everything being so uncertain, because
Right.
there could very well be no automotive community 6 months from now.
Right.
And that sounds crazy, but after COVID happened, anything's on the table.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, and we were lucky in a sense that like, COVID obviously it's not absolutely not like a blessing in disguise or whatever, but like for some business owners, it wasn't a bad thing because just thinking of it just as that,
For sure.
it created more jobs and it created more opportunity to sell product. And I mean, like, I'm sure you had your best year.
For sure.
I had my best year. It was stressful as shit because there was so much going on and the uncertainty of things, and we kind of like split up the staff so people weren't like working in this hovering over each other, for the first 6 months or whatever, because it was a very uncertain time. But yeah, like we pressed through, and it was. I mean, I don't think there's any automotive company that didn't have their best year.
Yeah.
So that part of it was a blessing, and now there's an uncertainty. So yeah, a lot of people's businesses are kind of potentially getting bought right now, just because like there's so many people trying to buy, and it's pretty wild to see this.
Yeah. It's a wild time, man. But
Yep, yep.
like I said, dude, just taking it a lot more local. Not really worrying about much that I personally can't control,
Yeah.
and even the things that I can control, whatever I have on my plate, like I'll take care of it, but I'm not gonna stress as much as I did in the past. And whether
Right.
that seems like irresponsible or not, bro, you never know when tomorrow is your last day.
Yeah, and you can't control any of that stuff. So you
Yeah.
have to just keep moving and making moves and kind of just hope for the best that everything's going to work itself out, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah. I love it, Ryan. Ryan, I love talking to you all the time, dude.
Same
We
here,
always
man.
have such good combos.
Yeah.
We've talked probably like 8 hours before flying to Japan. We've probably done that a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a break and watch a movie and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I really appreciate your friendship, bro.
Yeah, thanks,
And
man.
I
You
love
as
hanging
well.
out with you,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, it's never a dull moment. And I think I hope that you are wanting and hopefully can travel
For
more
sure.
because I want to, go back to Asia with you. I want to do more trips with you because it's a ton of fun
It is, dude.
and you're one of my best buddies. So,
Thank you, brother. Likewise,
yeah.
man. Hell yeah. All right, guys. So, Ryan, before we get out of here, let's give them where they can find you at and your YouTube channel, dude, because I want to see that succeed for sure.
So YouTube is Rywire, pretty easy to find. Instagram not quite as easy. It's Rywire
Underscore
motorsport
motorsport.
underscore electronics. Because there's some person that has Rywire and I can't get it. I don't know what that account's all about, but can't get that. Just simple Rywire on Instagram, and then let's see, Facebook I don't really use. I think it's just Rywire as well. But just search Rywire, rywire.com, my website. Email is orders@rywire.com.
I love it, dude. And then that new project, when do you think relatively you're going to start sharing content or ideas on that car?
Realistically, probably just like give me a couple months.
Okay.
But I am already starting to work on it and I'm already like grabbing content. So I want to give myself a buffer and a head start.
For sure.
So like if there's any downtime where we get super busy or I get stuck on some crazy jobs, I want to be able to make it seem seamless. And also what you're saying, I want to be able to post like, every Tuesday or whatever.
For sure.
I want to try hard this time. And I think definitely multiple angles and new cameras and like all that shit is going to have to be like 100%.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, we look forward to it, Ryan. Of course, anything you ever need from us, dude, we always got you.
Thank you, man. I know it.
Hell yeah. And everybody listening, make sure you guys check out the cult, dude. Join the cult. Text right now, 818-403-3473. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. This is Downtime with Downstar, and we out. Peace.